Buenos dias, Empire. Morning ambient. Oh, yeah. Felipe, you off today?
I am.
Just want to let you know we're one step closer to the Hertz-Hoffman Businesses Bowl after yesterday.
Okay. I just hope you get a blazer.
That's all I want. Pink and key lime green with palm trees on it. Made by Tommy Bahama. We've already got the jacket designed. Don't worry.
Well, how much more input do you need to give? I mean, what else is there? Yeah. I wish I still lived there now.
Sat with, do you know Mark Weber from the Twins? Have you ever met him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him for the first time yesterday. Nice guy.
Minnesota nice, Mark.
No, he was great because he didn't put up with any, like, there's times that people speak in this room that I just want to put my head down and cry. And he, like, no, that's not going to work.
Right.
I loved him. He was the furthest thing from Minnesota nice. He was matter of fact. He's my kind of guy. I liked him a lot.
Ten seconds.
If you say so.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. We begin to make the turn for home. Good show lined up for you. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good Thursday morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Doing well. Good night last night. Wednesday's my light night. Wednesday's the only night of the week, David, that I have nothing. No academic lessons for the daughter, no sports lessons for the daughter, nothing. It's a good night. We can just go home. We can have dinner as a family and not have to worry about driving all over God's green earth to take the daughter to what she needs to go to.
All right.
So I like Wednesdays. A little baseball, a little hockey. Got everybody in bed by 8 o'clock. It was glorious.
Oh, your Wings played last night.
Yes, they did.
And they look like the Wings again. They're starting to. They got some players.
They're worth watching.
Yep.
For the first time in a long time, they're worth watching.
They're on the rise.
I found myself rooting last night, which doesn't happen often, particularly in October for a hockey game. I found myself fully invested in the game. That was fun.
Wow, your daughter's going to see a side of you she's never seen. Hockey fan dad before. Wings, she's 9. They haven't been good most of her life.
Oh, and I could trash talk through the house because the wife's a Penguins fan. Took her Penguins blanket, threw it in a ball in the corner, and said, "There, take that."
Oh, that's right. That's who they played last night. Oh, it was on last night.
The house. This one meant something.
Yep, 2 points.
Exactly.
It sure did. Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Good show lined up. The doctor makes his weekly house call, Dr. Roto. So in about 2 hours, you can start sending in your fantasy football questions. JP Shadrick's going to join us because the Jags are playing tonight. He's been busy, by the way.
And they're playing in this country.
They are, which, isn't always a given. So he went abroad for about a week and a half. He actually talked to the owner. And, there's a few things going on. They're trying to get a stadium, about $2 billion. He'll pay half. The county will pay half. I mean, it sounds easy, right? We should be able to do this over lunch. Not really. And in their case, they actually could move. I mean, they've been playing in England for years now. So anyway, plus he's got Ohio State, Penn State this weekend on Westwood One. He's calling. Yeah, I know. Yep. He's one of those. He's like Bud Elliott. How many did when we first started talking to people, we were equals. And then and we're still Miller and Moulton.
Well,
he's another one of those.
Traveler. I mean, you are selling yourself pretty short here. Since we've done this, you've covered Super Bowls, you've covered U.S. Opens, you cover the game of the week for the SEC each week, you cover one of the big NFL games each week. I would say you're on equal ground. I am the one that is merely just grabbing coattails and riding and gliding along with this.
Well, whatever I'm doing freelancing, though, it's not as if I have lifted, the gravitas of this show any. I'm saying as a show.
We're a thing. I found that out yesterday.
Whoa! Hold on. Wait. We're a thing?
According to Seth Everett.
Oh, I thought like somebody in the community actually like
hell no.
told you, hey, kind of like Chevy Chase. No, I'm a slouch. No, I'm a hell of a slouch. So we're a thing. We're not a thing.
We're not a thing. That's what I learned on the show yesterday from Seth.
And Roy Cummings will join us for his weekly visit and whether or not the Bucs can bounce back from their second loss of the year and hope they can bounce back the way they bounced back from their first loss of the year. So, there you go. So here's your Wednesday night sounded nice, sounded fun. Had a little time to yourself and your favorite hockey team growing up filled the void and, beat your wife's favorite hockey team. So you had that going for you, on a hump night, if you will.
I wish.
Well, right. I mean, that's as close as you're going to get is
right.
The Wings and the Penguins. I mean, come on, Mark. It's a Wednesday night. You've been married a decade. Seriously?
Hey, you're the one that said hump night. That's all I'm saying.
Right, because it was a Wednesday night. Here's how. The good news is I slept in my own bed for the first time in 7 weeks last night. All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Just, $412,000 later, I got a good night's sleep. But I found myself paying an inordinate amount of attention to FIU and Sam Houston State. I think that's a sign of a problem.
It's a
Personally.
big problem, but I don't think there was ever a point. Maybe bottom of the fifth, there wasn't much of a point when the Astros jumped out to a big lead to think that there was going to be much of a baseball game last night.
Well, but also the series is 2-0. I knew the Astros were winning last night. I said that. I go, Scherzer's, come on. You don't not pitch for 6 weeks and all of a sudden face the Astros in the playoffs and get them out. Come on now. Okay. And I actually think it's why Bochy pitched him in game 3, because he's like, listen, I might as well get your clunker out of your system because I may need you in game 7. All right. Let me get about 75 pitches out of you. And then, you start working on things and what have you, because you ain't going to be any good. And we're up 2-0, and I can afford to pitch in game 3, as opposed to if I hold you for game 4 and it's 2-1 and, now I need you and you won't be ready. So I knew Houston was winning last night. And yeah, I took a look at the phone. I went, 4-0. 5-0. So yeah, but I mean, Mark, what is wrong with me? It's FIU, Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State was 0-6. And yet, because I on the air said, come on, FIU's a 5-point underdog to a winless team. How can that be? And it's like I took it personally. Like I was, president.
Did you David, let me just flat out ask you the real question here. Did you gamble on this game?
Okay, so I took the Panthers +5.
That's why you watched it. And,
it was tied late, and then they fumbled inside their own 20. Oh, for goodness sakes. And I'm like, really? Sam Houston State's going to pound this sucker in, and I'm going to lose. But they only kicked the field goal, and I went, great. Okay, so FIU's going to lose 2017 in regulation. That's okay. I just need the cover. Yeah, so what? That they lost to a winless team. Yeah, that's bad for them, not bad for me. I said, come on, FIU +5? You got to take it. So what does FIU do, Mark? They drive down the field and kick a field goal. Send it to overtime. No.
It's the last thing you needed.
No. And so then, of course, Sam Houston State scores first. And it's like, are you serious? It's 27-20? FIU, you better score. And fortunately, they scored, and they scored again, and they won. And, at least I was on the right side of FIU +5. Empire, in our Twitch chat room, he had the under. Overtime is not good for the over-under if you've got the under. This just in. So the game went over. In all seriousness, though, I think, and I'm being very serious here, and it's not just for betting purposes, but to me, this is how the scores get out of whack. Like you go to overtime tied at 20, and the final score is 44-42. All right. I think they should just tack on the last score as the winning score, if you know what I mean. That they keep
right,
that.
Because now they've got now after the second overtime, it's the go for 2.
Yeah, right. Or I think maybe even you have to go for 2 in the second overtime. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they're trying to shorten this sucker as much as they can. I think it should be like tennis. You go to the tiebreak at 6. Hey, you can play 800 points in the tiebreaker. But, the final score of the set, 7-6. That's how I think it should be.
So what if, what are you adding on? Just a point? Because sometimes a field goal decides it, David.
Yeah, last score, whatever the last score is.
Okay.
Whatever the last score is. If it's a 2-point conversion.
So then none of those touchdowns and yards and any of that count in the stats.
Well, no, they count them in the stats.
No, but in your method, they wouldn't.
Well, they shouldn't. No.
Stats shouldn't count.
I don't think the stats should count in overtime. But then again, that's the defensive guy in me that just says, I hate how overtime skews the stat sheet and the points for and against and what have you. But that's just a pet peeve of mine.
You take a lot of your pet peeves seriously right now because you watched FIU and Sam Houston State.
It's a dadgum good point, Mark. I understand why you're not going to take me seriously for the rest of the show. And
sometimes the lead-in helps the credibility of what you're trying to present.
Right.
And when you just broke down Sam Houston State and FIU in ways that no other show in this country will.
right, including an FIU football blog, okay, and podcast. Correct. Yes. So I deserve this. I do. You're right. So, I understand. I'll just sit in the corner.
No, I mean, I still want you to participate. I just want you to say when you're trying to throw at me new ideas, the lead-in
should not be
FIU Sam Houston State.
You know what? You make a good point. I probably should have held back on that.
I'm trying to decipher if it was the sports gambling degenerate or football goober that forced him to watch that game, or a little bit of both. Maybe.
I don't know if it was the euphoria of being back in my condo. I don't know. I really.
He had a remote in his hand that he could use, and only he could use last night,
right?
And therefore this happened.
Oh, and here's the funny thing too. I couldn't watch it because our TVs aren't hooked back up. I had to follow it on my phone. I mean, it was. And
he wasn't watching the Felipe. I want you to understand, not like you and I followed on our phone by actually watching the game on our phone. He was using an app to track the play-by-play on his phone.
Correct.
And I'm not kidding around. I'm not making this up. This is no trying to make fun of the old guy. No. That means David was watching the play-by-play on his phone. Rush up the middle for 3 yards, second and 7.
2:13 to go, fourth quarter, 1st and 10 on the 23. Correct. 3 yards, 2nd and 7 on the 26. Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. Right.
How'd you spend your Wednesday night?
Okay, so it wasn't as much fun as Mark's. I think that's fair to say. Hell, Felipe, I think you had more fun and you worked.
I was in bed by 9:30, and I had a much more fun night.
We do have a great show lined up for you.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to take part, though, but at least I helped set it up.
He did. Roy Cummings will talk Bucs, JP Shadrick to talk the Jags, and Dr. Roto to take your fantasy football questions. It's Sam Houston State Radio right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Go Panthers.
Budget floor.
Friends and family of Southwest Florida, are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ooh. Worst college football team. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, probably Sam Houston State. There's a couple of MAC teams that are pretty bad. Akron, Kent State. Nevada. Could be Nevada. They're 0-6. KW,
I'm hoping we do this long enough that David can start saying, how the F are you? That all the laws have changed by the time we're done with this show.
or just hell.
Well, you could say that, but you'd make your mom mad.
True. We started a show one time in our first act, and I don't know. We had a little more energy at the beginning, and I said something
Wait,
to the
pause.
effect.
I want to hear this.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
As we approach 21 minutes after the hour, top of the morning to you, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, Dr. Roto, our guest lineup, which will begin a little more than 1 hour from now. Houston, at least trying to give us a baseball playoff series worth watching. Although the Phillies may be worth watching just by themselves because they're a fun team. Got a slow pitch softball look and feel to them. But Houston getting on the scoreboard last night, so to speak, beating Texas. So the ALCS is 2-1, and we'll have two baseball playoff games today and tonight. But, Mark, I'm going to make you head coach and or general manager of the Jags.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, franchise quarterback. This franchise has never really had one of those.
Absolutely.
I mean,
no,
they tried. They tried, but he throws more passes outside the pocket than any other quarterback in the league. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. There's data behind that statement. So his legs are pretty important to his game. He's got a knee injury. He stood around in shorts and a T-shirt and threw the ball around on Tuesday. And that's about it. Because his knee got banged up late in the win against Indianapolis. And this is one of those Thursday night deals, short week. If it was Sunday, Trevor would probably play and he'd have some mobility at least. But, he ain't close to 100%. He's probably, in his own words, healthy enough to play. But he's not healthy enough to be Trevor Lawrence, if you know what I mean. Do you play him tonight?
I'm going to.
Okay.
And it's a double-edged sword because even with what Houston's doing, and I know Indianapolis is off to a nice start, but you've already taken care of them. Houston's playing above what we think their talent level is. So it's safe to say that the Jags are in complete control of this division, and I firmly believe that. I still think that the Jags, like you predicted, have a shot at more than just winning their division. They have a shot at perhaps being a 1 seed in the AFC. And a win this week goes a long way to trying to accomplish that. And I know it's a non-conference game, and when tiebreakers come, this doesn't matter, but it's about wins. I'm playing.
The answer to the trivia question, which we threw out yesterday, we did answer it during the show. Don't you find that frustrating? Quick sidebar. You're watching the college football game and they put the Aflac trivia question up on the screen, and then you happen to not be paying attention for whatever reason when they answer the question, and then you find yourself going, hey, what was the answer to that question? And this is where you wish somebody else could be in the room with you and go, they already answered it, buddy. CJ Beathard, by the way, is the answer to the trivia question as to who is the backup quarterback in Jacksonville.
Sidebar. If they put the question up and you don't watch it and see the answer, you're bothered. That was a personal note there, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
Let me ask it differently, David. I don't think I asked that question fairly. How should they do the Aflac trivia question, in your opinion, David?
I think the question and the answer should come at a specific time in the game so that the viewer knows. Because the viewer could get up and take a phone call, go get some food, go to the bathroom, be distracted by someone else in the house. And next thing you know, they come back. I mean, they answer it pretty quickly, And by the way, the answer to the question, who's the last Heisman Trophy winner for Alabama, is, Bryce Young. I mean, they don't do the disclaimer like on a game show. And you won a year's supply of rice roti. San Francisco treat. We don't have that with the Aflac trivia question. We just throw the question up there. The announcers joke about, do you know the answer? I don't know. No, I had to look it up. Okay. And then, later on, they show. Listen, we have shown the Aflac answer like 5 plays later. And we have shown the Aflac answer an hour later because we literally forgot one time. And it was kind of like, hey, did we ever answer that Aflac? No, as a matter of fact, we didn't. We probably should, shouldn't we? Yeah. Yeah, the band's played and everything. Yes, we should. So, yes, Mark, I think the viewers should know there's a certain time. This is when we're going to ask the question, and then this is when we're going to answer it. Or even... And tell the viewer, by the way, next series will provide the answer.
3rd and 1, and here's your answer to the Aflac trivia question.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's
listen, it's called business. Getting in, we've got to get in some business. That's what it's called. Because, it's Aflac's paying for it.
Yes, they are.
So, we got to get it in.
So I'm guessing by you asking me the question, you'd be playing CJ Beathard tonight. You would go with the route of the backup and hold Lawrence out and try to win the game any way possible.
Yeah, I would. Because their offense, it's his strength. I mean, we saw it at Clemson. Very mobile, and Dabo got him out of the pocket, and he's good. Like, believe it or not, Jalen Hurts is terrible on the move. And he's obviously very athletic and can run, but Jalen Hurts is top 3 in the league from the pocket. Jalen Hurts is bottom 5 in the league on the move, throwing the ball. Trevor Lawrence is not. Trevor Lawrence is really good on the move throwing the ball. And to either side, too. Most righties have to roll to the right. Trevor can go left and beat you just fine. So, yeah, this one concerns me. This is one of those, we're playing the Ryder Cup, if you know what I mean. I got 5 matches, and you're not quite 100%. I'm going to rest you in this afternoon foursome. I know you want to play. I know you could probably play, but you're only going to play 4 matches this Ryder Cup, not 5. I'm saying to Trevor, we're going to start CJ. I may turn to you, but I really hope not to. I think you need 2 weeks because I need you to be Trevor Lawrence.
Well, and that's the other side. I'm hedging my bet a little bit because if I get him through this, I've got a week and a half after.
Yep. But it will be interesting. And also, like, for example, we just saw in Cleveland. I mean, Deshaun Watson, after the whatever game it was, and he didn't practice all week. And then the Browns on game day cleared him to play. And Deshaun said, yeah, I ain't playing. I can't throw. So the Browns medical staff basically said, yeah, you're healthy enough to play. And Deshaun Watson went, the hell I am. And guess what? Another week and a half has gone by. He still hasn't practiced once. You get the whole what the team says and then what the player says. Sometimes the team then questions the player, and sometimes the locker room looks at the team and goes, seriously? You guys serious? He can't lift his arm. So I'll be curious what they do here. Whose call is it? Does Doug Peterson just look at Trevor and go, you tell me, you work out, we'll get to the stadium 2 hours early. You go run around, throw the ball around. I got to make a decision. First, it's not you're going to be active, so I don't have to make a roster decision, but you go do your thing and let me know. It's your call. Or does Doug Peterson and the general manager take it out of his hands and goes, we're going with CJ. Be ready, but we're going with CJ. That's why I let you be the power here.
I would hope it's the latter. I wouldn't put that decision up to my quarterback because he's going to play. And if the trainers are saying it's best that he doesn't play, I don't want the quarterback then overriding what the trainers are saying. I'd rather have the GM and coach come up with that decision on their own. But we'll find out tonight as the Jags and Saints get it on for a little Thursday night football.
And remember, this is the 3rd game in 12 days for the Jags at 3 different locations, London, Jacksonville, and now New Orleans. Granted, it's not a long road trip, but you get the deal.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on Fifth Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
A Sea of Pinot? What is that?
It's a seafood like stew.
Huh. Chapino. Okay. Thank you. Chapino. Sounds Italian.
We need a poll question.
You know, we do.
Should it be as simple as would you start Trevor Lawrence tonight?
No, I don't think enough people care. Would you? Who do you like tonight, Jackson? It's a virtual pick 'em. What was the question we were doing yesterday? 8 or 9 o'clock hour. I said this should be the poll question.
You did. The question is, what did you say?
Right. Damn. Hate when I have a moment of.
I got to start writing these things down.
Yeah, a moment of inspiration, and then of course I forget it. Come on, Wes. Just because he said something you didn't like. One thing. He's dead to you because he said one thing. Besides, don't take it out on us.
He's not. He's watching the show.
I know, but I'm afraid that, when Tuesdays at 7 o'clock rolls around, he's going to switch us off.
Him wanting it and him getting it are two different things, though, fam.
I do think, though, that Caleb Williams' dad is very influential in all this, and that I think there's a chance of an Archie Manning type situation come who ends up with the first overall pick. If he and his son are like, yeah, I don't want to go there. I do think that there's a strong chance that they play the I ain't gonna play their card. See, KW, this is why it's important how you handle these things. Like this stuff's coming, like it might have come out publicly 20 years ago with Eli, but Archie did it all quietly behind the scenes.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings, 1 hour from now. JP Shadrick in a little more than an hour. And the doctor makes his weekly house call, Dr. Roto, to answer your fantasy football questions 2 hours from now. Light sports night last night. Let's get to it. Time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
We lead with baseball. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Max Scherzer hadn't pitched in a good 6 weeks. Tried to give it a go last night. They were hoping to get 4 innings out of him. They got 4 innings out of him. The problem was he gave up 5 runs in those 4 innings. Houston able to hold off Texas from there 8-5 to get back in the series. Rangers' first loss of the playoffs. Texas leads the series 2-1. Game 4 tonight in Arlington. Game 3, meanwhile, 5 o'clock today. Phillies up to spit on Arizona. The Diamondbacks now get to host the middle 3 of the 5-game series. We'll see how long they can make this series go. Game 3 at 5 o'clock. Remember, National League's on TBS, American League's on FS1. NFL tonight. The Jags, who have won 3 in a row, they're 4-2, facing the 3-3 New Orleans Saints. So if you're a Bucs fan, you're paying attention here. Just like if you're a Falcons fan, you're also paying attention. This game's got some interest for you. You're rooting for Trevor Lawrence and the boys. The question is Trevor Lawrence going to play? He's questionable with a knee injury. There seems to be a sign that he's not. The Jaguars, about 18 hours ago, promoted Nathan Rourke from the practice squad. He's their third-string quarterback. He hasn't been active for a game this year. So they moved him from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Why would they do that unless they thought they may need him? Why would they need him? Maybe because Trevor's not going to play and C.J. Beathard is, and Nathan Rourke, who's the former MVP of the CFL, by the way. I mean, there are those out there who think, this kid's actually a player, just needs an opportunity. Well, he's going to be the backup, we think, to C.J. Beathard tonight. And the betting line moved dramatically upon that news because the Saints are now a 1-point favorite. I believe Jacksonville was like a 2-point favorite.
That's correct.
So, they're paying attention. Over-under 40 tonight. So basically a 21-20, 2019 type of game. That's what they're calling for tonight in New Orleans, 8 o'clock. Some other NFL news. Speaking of clock, the clock has started for both Jalen Ramsey and Kyler Murray. See, when they put you on a list, you can't practice until you get to a certain point where you think once you start practicing, 21 days later, you'll be ready to be on the active roster. So both the Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals started the clock, so to speak, on Jalen Ramsey and Kyler Murray. They can both now practice. And then teams have to make a decision within 21 days as to whether or not they're going to be activated. Usually when they do that with a player, they think the player's going to be ready to go. Jets, remember it was like a week or so ago in which they said, man, we got no use for this Mecole Hardman guy, even though we signed him as a free agent. But just I don't know. We thought he was good looking 6 months ago. Now, not so much. And we all said, well, why don't the Chiefs just bring him back? They need wide receivers. He's a 25-year-old wide receiver. It's kind of affordable, $4 million a year. And Mark, you're not going to believe it, but the Jets and the Chiefs actually listen to Sports Talk Radio. Hardman got sent back to Kansas City for a couple of late-round draft picks yesterday. And Deshaun Watson was asked, hey, you haven't done anything in the last couple of weeks. Have any idea when you're going to be able to practice and play? And he said, quote, and I can't put a time frame on it, unquote.
Don't worry, though. I'm still getting paid. No need for me to rush anything because my money's all guaranteed.
Well, but that also tells me that he's injured, if you know what I mean. Remember how the Colts, for about a week and a half, tried to tell us it was a sprained shoulder with Anthony Richardson?
Right. And then finally, Jim Irsay said he's done for the year.
For the year. Like, really? With a sprained shoulder? Well, it was a little more than that. He's going to need surgery. Really? You mean when he was walking off the field at a 30-degree angle with his right shoulder down to his hip? Okay, you're telling me it was a little more serious than a sprain? So Deshaun Watson is hurt, folks. And I know they got a great defense. I mean, them and the Jets are getting it done, but for how much longer? Browns at Indy, ironically enough, this coming Sunday. College football last night. FIU needed overtime to beat winless Sam Houston State 33-27. Panthers are 4-3. And New Mexico State snapped a 7-all tie at the half and took care of UTEP in El Paso 28-7. Mark, 2 more college games tonight. I mean, if the Jags and the Saints aren't doing it for you, how about Rice and Tulsa, 7 o'clock on ESPN2?
Woo-wee.
And if not that, how about James Madison and Marshall, 7 o'clock on ESPN?
You know, that's actually a sneaky good game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That one has a little bit to it.
Has a little charisma to it? Willing to go that far? No?
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far.
Okay.
But that's not a bad game. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Some basketball news. First off, WNBA Finals. Vegas edged the New York Liberty last night 70-69 to repeat as champs. They won the best of 5, 3 games to 1. Good back and forth game down the stretch. They overcame a 9-point halftime deficit on the road to win their second straight title. One other basketball note. Remember when James Harden showed up in Colorado and practiced, worked out with the Sixers, and then gave a thoughtful, good, solid press conference to the media? Yeah, he hasn't done a damn thing with the Sixers since. No. I mean, no practice. It has literally not even been in the building for any one of the Sixers preseason games. They have not seen or heard from him since Sunday. So this is going well. The season starting Tuesday and all. 34-year-old Harden in the final year of his contract, and he wants to go to the Clippers. And apparently the Clippers actually want him, but they're only willing to give up so much for him. So we'll see how this ends. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid is signing a big money deal with Skechers. Did you see that?
I did.
That's interesting. If you're in the whole, athletes, I mean, that's we don't really think of super athletic footwear and Skechers.
No, it's a Joe Montana ad. It's for the retired player, not the current player, if you know what I mean.
And they went from Montana to Romo, the younger retired person, the 40-year-old, the casual person, business casual, right? With your khakis and your golf shirt, why don't you slip into your pair of Skechers? Not a 7-foot MVP going up and down the floor. So, anyway, golf, they're not playing PGA or LPGA Tour golf in this country this week. PGA Tour players are in Japan at the Zozo Championship. Colin Morikawa is your first-round leader at 6 under, has a one-shot lead over 5 different guys. Xander Schauffele is probably the best name that's closest to Morikawa. He is tied for 8th. He is 3 shots back. The women are in Korea for the BMW Ladies Championship. Ashley Buhai with a 10 under 62. That'll play. That really will. Anywhere. Any tour. Has a 1-shot lead over American Allison Lee. And hockey. Just 2 games last night. Ottawa beat Washington 6-1. And there are some that think the Ottawa Senators are a playoff team.
Yes, they are. I'm one of those people that thinks that, by the way. Ottawa's going to compete for a playoff spot this year.
Okay, well, it's interesting who they're going to take out from last year. But the one thing that people were commenting on during the game is that, boy, did Ottawa make Washington look slow. Ovechkin, by the way, 3 games into the season only has 1 point. Slow start for Alex as he tries to chase down Gretzky. He's like 70-something goals behind the great one for the all-time scoring mark. And Detroit doubled up Pittsburgh, which, was part of the hockey civil war in the Miller household. Mark, the Wings fan, and his wife, the Penguins fan. So it was on like Donkey Kong last night in the Miller household, 6-3 Wings. And at 11 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
See, that's my expression of the show to show my age. Like sometimes I wait till the end of the show and I talk about something being on the deuce tonight. Okay. I figured I'd show my age early in the show if by chance you thought I was younger than I am. Trust me, I'm not. All right. It's on like Donkey Kong. That was the expression to go, wow, he is old.
Yep. No, I love it. The problem is I don't have any hip young sayings to try to act younger than I am. I just kind of fall right in with whatever you're going with. Go, that's right, David. You tell him. Get him with those 25-year-old cliches.
Felipe's on the other side of the glass shaking his head going, I don't know what he's talking about, but man, it sounds stupid.
Me 80% of most of these shows,
It's just counting the days over there. That's all he's doing.
No.
He's just counting the days.
I don't blame him. Getting up early, putting up with us. I'd be counting the days too. Miller and Moulton. So there you go. Not a lot of meat on the bone. Okay, first time in a while in which I took a look at the sports day and night and went, you know what? I feel like I got 2 less wings with my appetizer today. What's going on here? Hey, I only got 8. I thought I'd get 10.
And it'll probably be the only day in all of October that you'll feel that way.
Probably.
Dead zone,
Probably.
Dead zone. We had playoff baseball. We had hockey. We had college football. We've got an NFL game tonight. We've got college football tonight. We got NHL everywhere. The only thing that there's a dead period for is this one league that you follow. Everything else is going on. This is the furthest thing from a dead zone that there is. You know what's a dead zone? It's July.
I'm just saying there's a tiny gray area in October.
No, there's no gray area. There's a hoop head over there that didn't have to go get a book signing appearance last night about a high school basketball tournament, and he was out of sorts.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because Steph Curry hit a game-winning 3 in a preseason basketball game last night.
Did it count?
Oh, the 3 counted, but
it didn't count. Remember,
losses, no.
Preseason basketball, same rules apply to preseason football. Mark, what's the only thing that counts?
Injuries.
Thank you. That's it. No. Wins and the losses don't count. No, nothing counts. And besides, what's he doing playing in a preseason game? I want load management in October. Okay? Not November through March. Okay? No. You're healthy enough to play in October. Better get your out there in January, okay?
The Warriors and Kings had both of their starters in for the last 4 minutes of a preseason game. I was shocked.
Hey, I saw highlights from a Clippers game and Kawhi played in a preseason game. Like, what the hell?
Wait.
The hell?
Kawhi Leonard playing basketball?
Right.
That's a rare sighting right there.
Man, I thought he was part of the witness protection program. Man, he can't divulge himself publicly like that.
That's like seeing an elk in Florida.
I am curious. We're not going to spend much more time on this, folks. Trust us. But I am curious. The league is putting a huge emphasis, trying to be heavy-handed, almost publicly trying to shame teams and players before the season starts about, hey, you guys got to start playing 80 games. You got to start playing, okay? You're getting paid good money. We need you out there. I want to see how long this lasts.
The problem with it is that LeBron's now old, because LeBron throughout his career played the best player was playing 75 to 80 games every damn year. But now he's older. He gets banged up. He actually isn't playing because he can't.
By the way, the rules, once you get to age 35, they don't apply. So LeBron can load management if he wants, and there's nothing the league can do.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
When he was clearly the best player, he was
Mhm.
also playing 80 games. It makes a difference. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Just read a quick story about Messier. When he was in New York, the China Club apparently was the club in the city to go to.
Okay.
You know, you'd see famous musicians performing. All the famous people were there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he was there a lot. And Kiprio said one night he was playing for the Capitals and waited quite a while to get in. They ponied up $500 for the bouncer, still waited another 30 minutes. And then he gets traded to the Rangers. He's sitting at a table at the China Club with Messier. Bouncer walks up to the table and says, "I got the St. Louis Blues outside." Messier goes, "Have him wait another 40 minutes.
Did you see my text?
I did not.
Okay. There are not many people that could throw me off my game, but if I ever was in close proximity to Mark Messier, that would throw me off my game.
I'd be texting my buddy Kim, who dated him when she was in Cincinnati and he was in Cincinnati.
And
I'd be like, Kim, give me something on Moose. Give me something from Cincinnati that he'd remember. And that's where I'd start. Because if it was good enough, he'd lighten up and go, holy.
Wow, these guys did their homework.
Right. I'd say I'll never forget we had Moose Johnson for the first time. Like, we had a mutual friend, and he looked at me like, yeah, we've got a mutual friend. And I said, so you know the big pig, huh? You know Blinko? The whole interview change.
Totally. Nope. Radio Row at the Super Bowl. Mark just elbowed me and said, I'll go first. Go for it.
Every once in a while, you get lucky.
Yeah. And sometimes you ask a question when you're sitting face to face with somebody and you really get their attention, good or bad. And Mark's done it twice. When Andy Enfield got the FGCU job, Andy came in studio and Mark looked right at him and said, I wanted them to hire Richard Pitino. Okay. Why'd they make the right decision? And Andy stood up straight, moved up to the front of his chair.
Great answer. Great answer. Sold me. Yep. If you were listening, he sold you.
And then Matthew Stafford at the Super Bowl. Mark looked right at him and was like, dude, I grew up in Michigan. The Lions suck. Why do you want this? And Stafford did the same thing and was like, no. I want this challenge. No. I know 0-16. I got it. No. I want it.
Pretty easy question for me this week.
Okay.
There's a certain game at 7:00 on, I think, NBC.
The 0-16 year is why they got Stafford?
Yeah, they had first overall pick.
Right, yeah, got it. All right, just making sure.
And we did Radio Row at the Super Bowl in Tampa. And he was making the rounds.
And then we had, was it Mark Malone?
Yes.
Right. Mark Malone sat down. He was our next interview, and Malone was a former first-round pick.
And I knew all about Malone, and so, right. Yep. Quarterback. Yep.
And had Malone interviewing Stafford.
Yes. It was excellent.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday, the day in the week in which you feel like you're making the turn for home, right? In a horse race, you can see the finish line from here, but it's still, it's a ways off. The week could change, good, bad, or indifferently. We're a little off our game compared to how we've been for the last 4 weeks because we don't have a poll question yet.
No, we don't, and I've got nothing. Nothing. And it's my area. I mean, Jags Saints. Yippee. That does nothing for me.
Yeah, that's a Moulton poll question right there. Who do you like tonight?
Who do you like tonight, Jags or Saints? Hey, Dynamic Sports Radio, get them.
I didn't realize I sounded like that. Maybe that's just how my questions sound. I hope it's just my questions. I'd really hate to sound like that. That would suck. I'd have to apologize to you. My goodness, you've been sitting next to that for 17 years? Man.
I don't know where that voice came from, David. I really have no idea.
So we'll try to come up with a question sometime in the next half hour. Hey, I have a question. It's not a poll question unless you'd like to make it one.
Ooh,
you'd have to narrow it down. But this is as open-ended a question, and you can text in your answer at 21,000 if you'd like, or chime in on the Twitch chat room. pro or college, doesn't matter. Could begin tonight, could go through Monday night, whatever. Pro or college, if you could call for an upset and deliver it, what would it be?
You're asking me that question?
Well,
this week. Of all weeks, you're asking me this question.
Okay. Now,
do I have to take that game out?
Ladies and gentlemen, for those that can't translate that means that Michigan State's playing Michigan this week.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
he's asking the Michigan State alum, if you could deliver one upset this week, they're playing their biggest rival, and they're a 24-point dog, and Michigan's going to hang 50 on them in East Lansing.
Mark, let's just say when I thought of the question about 9 minutes ago, I had forgotten that Michigan was playing Michigan State this week. But, whether it's a Saturday upset or a Sunday upset, what is just the game in which if it were to happen? Because think about it. We had 2 of those last week. The Jets beat the Niners. The Jets beat the Eagles and the Browns beat the Niners. We had 2 of those type games in which you're like, boy, wouldn't it be great if such and such happened? And the person next to you goes, yeah, come on, that's not going to happen. Well, wouldn't it be great, though, if it did? I mean, what is the game? Whether it's a huge upset like Michigan State over Michigan, or whether it's something as simple as, man, what if Penn State could just beat Ohio State?
I'll be really honest with you. From Sunday, it's not much of an upset based on the point spread, because this point spread is hovering at a mere 2.5. But if the Dolphins go into Philadelphia and win on Sunday night,
okay, there you go. It would be an upset. I'm sorry, it would be an upset. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl. The Dolphins have not been a Super Bowl contender in, you tell me.
And have to win that prove-it game.
Yeah.
This year, the Dolphins have done what they're supposed to, but they lost to the Bills, and they lost ugly to the Bills. So this would be a prove-it game, a bit of an upset. But if you want me to pick one on Sunday, Miami going to Philadelphia and winning. Right now, Philadelphia doesn't think they can lose at anything.
Do you know what it would be like in this state if the Dolphins could go to Philly and win? I mean, come on. We've been doing this 17 years. They've never won a game like this. No, they haven't. Even when they've won the division in 2008, the Wildcat Tony Sperano season. All right. I mean, they've never won a game in which, because the Dolphins beating the Patriots, for whatever reason, even during the Patriots dynasty, the Patriots went to Miami and lost more years than not. They lost to a 4-12 Dolphins team that was 1-8 when they played them on Monday Night Football in orange uniforms, for goodness sakes. I mean, New England's just got a thing. They go to South Florida, they lose. So even when the Dolphins beat the Patriots, that's more a division thing. When's the last time the Dolphins won a game like this in which in the NFL universe people went, holy blank, look at the Dolphins.
And they would be doing it against a team that I believe everybody, at least, you may not think it's a big upset, but clearly I would hope you would agree with me, and I know you will, David, that they're playing a more physical team.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is regarded as one of the toughest, most physical teams in the league. Both lines of scrimmage maul you. And for the Dolphins to stand up to that physical challenge and win on the road would be an upset.
DC in our Twitch chat room says, yeah, it would not be an upset, really. DC, the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since Bill Clinton was president. The Eagles just went to the Super Bowl. They went to the playoffs the year before that. We know what the Eagles' track record is. I mean, you don't think Miami going into Philly, also Eagles coming off a loss, okay, which got their attention.
I'll give you one other upset for you.
Mine's on Saturday, for what it's worth.
Well, I have one other one on Saturday. You asked me a layup question on the week that my alma mater's playing their arch rival.
Okay, once again, I had a lot going on this week. I started the week in California.
I got one other Saturday game for you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
This would be another monumental upset and would send upheaval into the college football world if it happened. UCF going on the road and beating Oklahoma.
Oh, my goodness. That's so unimaginable.
The number's less than what Sparty's line is at home against Michigan.
Yeah,
5
I know.
points less, as a matter of fact.
I know, but that's a rivalry game. A handful of times in 100 years, that happens in a rivalry game. Honestly, if you were to ask, here, want a nomination for a poll question? Which upset would shock you more? UCF beating Oklahoma, Michigan State beating Michigan. I think more people would say UCF beating Oklahoma would shock them more. Because they know Michigan State can beat Michigan. I mean, not this year, but they know they can. They've done it. This is not a huge upset, although the point spread, I think, is bigger than it should be. But to me, it's the ramifications of it. What if Tennessee beats Alabama? Because what it does is it eliminates the SEC West. And I think what it does is it says to Georgia, you ain't getting in the playoff with a loss. You ain't. And Tennessee now still very much in play to win the East. By the way, Tennessee hasn't been in the SEC title game since 2007. That's officially a drought. But believe it or not, of all the college games, and that I think is going to surprise you. Really? That's the one? Yeah. Yeah, because I think it'd be very damaging to the SEC. Nationally. I do. Texas wouldn't like it either, by the way. I mean, Texas wants Alabama to run the table and get to Atlanta.
Correct.
But so that's the one that if I could pick an upset just for the ramifications, just like, at some point in time, if Georgia were to lose, that'd be fun. So how about this? Poll question nominee. That's sports, so 37 people will vote. But which do you give a better chance? Penn State at Ohio State, Dolphins at Eagles. Isn't the spread close to the same in both?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Dolphins are what, 2.5?
2.5. Penn State's 3.5.
Okay.
That was actually moved to 5. That jumped 1.5 in a day. That was 3.5 yesterday. That is 5 this morning.
Wow. But, which one do you think you give because Penn State, Ohio State's the game of the weekend, right? In college football?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the Dolphins and the Eagles is the game of the weekend in the NFL, right?
Absolutely.
So, which one and which team going on the road? Which doesn't win big games. They don't win in this spot. I mean, I'd love for a Dolphins fan to just tell me, when's the last time in a spot like this the Dolphins won? Honestly. 5-1. Talked about. It's like if Detroit finishes off this little road trip. They went into Tampa, workman-like performance, and they won. Okay. They go to Baltimore. That's a hell of a road trip, by the way. Go on the road, first place team, boom, boom, come home. Yeah. You do that Power 5 index, you better get us in it. Put us wherever the hell you want, but we better be in the index.
And we talked about Penn State yesterday. It's been 6 years, 2017, since they've won a game in this spot.
2016 at home. They haven't won in Columbus since the Luke Fickell year of 2011.
Right.
So they've lost 5 straight in Columbus, and they haven't beaten the Buckeyes, I think, in 7 years, which happened to be the last time they won the Big Ten. See the coincidence there? Just like if they win Saturday, a month from now, they host Michigan. So, I don't know. Might not be strong enough to make poll question status. You know the standards we have for a poll question.
Right.
I mean, they're lofty.
Hershey's chocolate bar or Hershey's Kiss? Which one do you like better?
Exactly.
It's the same damn thing.
Butter or sour cream on your potato. I mean, it's lofty standards. But
now we're talking about road wins and which team can go get one.
He goes by Greek God Greasy in the Twitch chat room. They get a lofty status. He says, yeah, I'm 32 years old. Dolphins have never won a game like this. Right. Now, technically, they might have in the early 90s. You just don't recall it. But, yeah, basically, since you're old enough to be a fan, no. Felipe's sitting on the other side of the glass. Felipe, we got 10 seconds. Dolphins ever won a game like this in your lifetime?
No.
There you go. Back to you in the studio, Mark. I don't care what the point spread says. This is a BFD.
And it would be an upset if the Dolphins win it. Don't know what to tell you. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. We'll get a poll question up here, right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I did. I fell asleep in the third. My couch sucks me in. So which upset is more likely to happen? Dolphins beat Eagles, Penn State beats Ohio State.
Huh.
It's up. I'm voting.
Okay.
I'm retweeting. That's funny, Jeff. It's a little too late, but that's funny.
That over-under's got to be in the mid-30s.
All right, what are you guessing? 36? I'm going 36 and a half.
There you go. I was going to go, let's see.
Holy
I was going to go 35 and a half. What do you got?
That's lower.
Come on.
31 and a half.
Oh, my God.
Iowa's a 3.5 point favorite.
17-14?
14.
My God.
Vegas is predicting the final score of a game to be 17-14 in 2023. You know, they keep talking like this Duke quarterback might play.
I don't know if it'll matter. That's funny, Jeff. All right, now Iowa lost their tight end to an ACL. It's not like they have a lot of weapons on that offense.
God, and if they don't have a tight end, what do they have?
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings to join us, a little more than 15 minutes time. Where do the Tampa Bay Bucs go from here? They are still the first place Bucs, who have a rooting interest in tonight's Jacksonville-New Orleans game. Signs leaning towards Trevor Lawrence not playing. Why would the Jags have activated their third-string quarterback off the practice squad and put him on the active roster if he wasn't maybe going to be the backup quarterback? I mean, you could make the case, well, you know, they're going to try Trevor, but if he can't go, then that's why they need him. Yeah. But most people seeing that roster move is an indication that they're leaning no on Trevor Lawrence.
And since the point spread moved 3 points in Vegas, Vegas is leaning no as well.
Right. So Roy Cummings, a little more than 15 minutes, talk Tampa Bay Bucs. JP Shadrick, talk about the Jags and a little college football as well. He's got the call on Ohio State, Penn State this Saturday for Westwood One Radio. And Ohio State, Penn State's part of our poll question.
Which upset is more likely to happen? Penn State beats Ohio State. The Dolphins beat the Eagles.
Couple of teams who haven't won games in this spot in a long time, and both going on the road, facing some of the behemoths in their league. Eagles, obviously, went to the Super Bowl, and Ohio State because, well, you know, they're Ohio State. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Is this week's Dolphins game the biggest game in Tua Tagovailoa's NFL career?
Well, the thing is, the answer, of course, is yes, because he didn't play in the playoff game. And he didn't play in the game that they won to set up going to the playoffs. But win or lose, 2 weeks from now, they're in Germany playing the Chiefs. And I could argue even if they lose this game, because the Chiefs game it's a conference game, it would give them the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. Okay. So Felipe, it's his biggest game of his NFL career for 14 days.
Hasn't played in back-to-back games like this since he went Auburn and then to do an SEC championship.
Right.
Now, I do think isn't there a game in between?
There is.
But yeah, it's a good point though. No, it's a dadgum good point
Same
there.
time frame. There was a week off between the Auburn game and no, there's not. So no, yeah, it's a 3-game stretch for him, but it's like the toughest 3-game stretch he's had since SEC play.
Yeah, it's not often in a 3-game stretch you face the reigning AFC and NFC champions in a 3-week span.
Well, that was the running joke with Tua when the Dolphins got Tyreek, that Tua finally, looked at the Chris Greer and said, well, it's about time you got the receiving core close to what I had at Alabama.
If you could get one more, now we'd be in good shape.
Right. I mean, I had 4 first-round picks at Alabama, and now we've got 2, including one of the guys I had at Alabama. But I appreciate it. I do. At least it's not Devontae Parker. You're not trying to pass him off as the number 1 receiver like the Patriots are. Oh, man.
It was 5 years. It was only 5 years ago that we were witnessing Jay Cutler throw passes to Devontae Parker, and that was the height of Dolphins football.
That was a little more than 5 years ago. I mean, was it just 5 years ago?
It was 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
It might have been 5 years ago.
Man. Once again, going back to the point of the Dolphins don't win in this spot very often. They haven't been in this spot very often in 25 years. Wouldn't it be nice? All right. It'd be strange for the sports talk listener in the state of Florida that's not living in Miami, okay, in which we have to talk about the Dolphins seemingly every other week in a key game. It's like, what the heck? Come on. No, really.
Hey, and that's why you and I think, are pulling for the Bucs and maybe pulling for the Jags. Like, we could have all 3 Florida teams vying for divisions all year long.
Yeah,
the Bucs are going to be in the NFC South race all year long. The division's bad. The Jags should be winning their division. We're talking about 3 playoff teams in the state of Florida, 4 if you include the Seminoles.
And that's, 20 plus years since that was the case.
I'm still adjusting to seeing the Dolphins logo on national shows because growing up, I watched SportsCenter. I was kind of part of that mold where I got my sports information through SportsCenter. Anytime I'd ever see the Dolphins on SportsCenter, my neck would snap. I'd be like, what?
Well, I mean, to get a little selfish here, we're obviously trying to be on as many stations in the state as we can. And the argument that we're making to general managers and program directors is, they don't talk about the teams that interest you. Okay. And Felipe, I have to admit, the Dolphins going into Philadelphia and winning, probably not good for Miller and Moulton, because if they win, they're going to get talked about now nationally.
It ruins that narrative a little bit because the Dolphins will be talked about, but the Bucs and Jags, not so much, no matter what they do.
So it would be cool. It would be cool.
Let's see how cool the play of the day is today, Felipe.
Well, like I said, it was kind of a gray area in October last night. Yeah, we had a playoff baseball game, and yeah, we had, NHL hockey, but we also had the WNBA finals, and the Las Vegas Aces had an opportunity to clinch last night, and yes, they did in New York in a fairly close game that went down to the wire.
Ionescu inbound, trying to get it to Stewart. Dumps it in. Stewart juggles, catches. 6 seconds left. Stewart with 5, draws the double. Lady to the corner. Vandersloot. No! And that is it! An unforgettable finish to Game 4. A resilient conclusion to a remarkable season for the Las Vegas Aces. And for the first time in 21 years, the WNBA has a back-to-back champion.
Ryan Rucco of ESPN on the call. Back-to-back champs for the Las Vegas Aces. And I might add, since we are a local show here in Fort Myers, that's 2-time NBA champion Kirsten Bell, FGCU alumni, baby. Let's go. Las Vegas Aces, back-to-back champs. Becky Hammon has an opportunity here to be the Greg Popovich of the WNBA.
Well, what will be interesting is if she now goes back to the NBA in some way, shape, or form. She now as a head coach has established herself. She was the lead assistant in San Antonio. You're one of 50 of those in the league. Okay, now you go out. Okay, she coached the men in the summer league, wins back-to-back championships. She obviously can coach. We just had a female general manager with a baseball team lead that team to the playoffs. Will the day ever come that we have a woman coaching men? If it's going to happen, I think in the next 10 years, I would guess she'd be the one.
She is option one for that role.
So and there are 9 of you left after Felipe went WNBA with the play of the day. I understand that.
Oh, my goodness.
Once again, man, I hope you were all watching on Twitch.
Goodness. That's the last time we ever do the play of the day.
Champions.
And then he goes, Kirsten Bell, we're on all over the state. He makes our regional show really local for a girl that played 1 minute last night.
I was going to say, was it 1 or 2?
1
minute. Yeah.
She
1 minute.
She barely plays, but she's the life of that bench.
You couldn't go. Another poll question will be like the Mike Bianchi show in Orlando. We'll just keep throwing poll questions out there. Okay, bigger sporting event. FIU beating Sam Houston State in overtime, okay, or the WNBA championship.
Should Felipe be allowed to continue the play of the day after having the WNBA play as the play of the day? How many votes do you think you'd get in the yes on it? Do you think you'd lose 90-10% wise or 95-5?
I don't care. If you know, you know.
Oh, we know, and we know for sure now.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, but I don't think Messi played last night.
I think it was 2 nights ago that he played for Argentina.
Yeah, and
they're talking about Inter Miami.
Yeah, they tied Charlotte 2-2 last night. I don't think he played.
Hey, David, I know you see him more than I do, but Awful Announcing has a tweet out. What is it any wonder why Undisputed's rankings are tanking when they spend literally the entire show on the Cowboys? So the new show is doing worse, huh?
Yeah.
I'd not seen anything. That's why I didn't.
Well, I think it's difficult, even during the summer, to take 6 weeks off.
Did you happen to see the Terrell Edmonds, DeAndre Swift video at the baseball game?
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness, is it funny? It is. It's just terrific. They'd never been to a baseball game before, and they're in the front row going back and forth. And it's just a conversation. The video I saw, almost sent it to you this morning. I saw it on Twitter or TikTok, actually.
So they weren't paying attention at all.
No, we're totally locked in.
Oh.
But they don't know the game all that well. But man, I want to see a home run. Oh, not right now because Arizona's up. And they're just conversing about the game going.
Gotcha.
So they pitch a different guy every day. Yeah, and it's just they're having a real. It's two guys that don't watch baseball, and it's funnier than hell.
Oh, I gotta find it.
I have a hilarious sound, also, but it's from like 4 nights ago when Schwarber hit that leadoff home run in Game 1. Did you hear the Arizona Diamondbacks call of that home run?
No.
It is.
I did not. I wish I'd heard which Arizona player not mocked, but which said the fans are louder other places after the game. I know someone said it.
He said that he thought that he doubted that the Philly home crowd would be louder than the World Baseball Classic crowd when the United States played against Venezuela. And then
but somebody said something after Game 2.
Oh no, I think it was that the head coach said that Chase Field was just as loud. Or would be just as loud.
Tickets are going for $9 or 17 now.
Where?
Arizona. You can get a ticket for $17 for tonight's game. You know what it costs to go to Citizens Bank Park for Game 4 or Game 6 if it happens? It's like 300 and something. Hi, Roy.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing well. Yourself?
No complaints. All good.
Roy. Mark is a Wings fan, and so for the last 5 years, it's been rough after the 25-year run that they had.
Yeah, it has.
He is really back. Okay. Wednesday night, it's on the big TV, okay? Yeah. He's rooting for goals, okay?
He got 6 of them.
Yeah.
He got 6 of them. A pretty decisive victory there over the Penguins.
Well, it got to be 4-3. They scored 2 empty netters to make it 6-3.
Yeah. But it did get tight. It did get tight.
They are. I found myself. I'm in. It's been a while. Hey, look, it's been a rough go. If you're a Detroit sports fan, they've sucked at everything.
Boy, you are absolutely right about that.
And I'm not a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan State grad, so my Spartans have gone into the tank. Not only that, they've been completely embarrassing with everything that's happened at that university.
Yeah. And you know what? Have you ever thought, I know I have, what would the Tigers have been like if they'd have just held on to Verlander and Scherzer? Just those two guys alone. I mean, there's a few others they've given up that have become pretty good players too. Pretty good pitchers. But just those two guys alone. Sometimes I wonder why teams trade guys, Man, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense.
Tell you what, though, to keep them along with Cabrera, they would have been paying those 3 guys $100 million at the same time. Total,
Think it would have worked out though.
Might have.
Think it would have worked.
Especially that division. That division's been a winnable division most years. Yes.
And think about it. It's 2 starters that draw fans. I mean, that is the one.
Yes.
You're going to get some payback on your investment because when it's not like an everyday player. It's Verlander's starting. We got to go see him. Scherzer's starting. We got to go see him.
Yeah. Even if they had just kept him for another 5 years.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. JP Shadrick will join us at the top of the hour. He's part of the Jags radio network. Jags in action tonight against the Saints, a game that a Bucs fan has got some real rooting interest in because obviously Tampa Bay a half a game ahead of New Orleans and Atlanta. In the NFC South, Bucs hosting the Falcons this weekend. Roy Cummings covers the Bucs. He joins us once again at this day and time. Follow Roy on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. First off, hi, hope you're doing well. How are you?
All is well, doing well. Thank you.
All right. What negatively surprised you the most Sunday?
I think it was to me, I guess I would have to say that I thought the rush defense would be a little bit more stout. I didn't see them, missing the assignments that they missed there, allowing some of those big chunk plays, especially on third down. I don't think this defense is impenetrable, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's kind of their bread and butter is we're going to stop your running game and you've got to beat us throwing the ball down the field. And we just saw in some critical moments there, they got gashed a little bit. And I was a little bit surprised by that. I think everything else that happened, Baker Mayfield's game, not solid. It was just solid. It was okay. It wasn't his best game. He's going to have days like that. Especially without the size, he's going to have some trouble sometimes in that screen game. And if the line can't hold, he's going to have some issues. And the running game continues to be a problem as well. So wasn't surprised by that, but a little bit surprised that the defense couldn't get off the field a little bit more cleanly and give some more opportunities to the offense. I think that's kind of where it all fell apart.
And was it Detroit's defense or was it Baker having, a little bit of a bad game? Because to me, I was surprised. Detroit's defense proved something to me that they can get after a quarterback that way because Tampa's offensive line had been doing a really nice job protecting Baker, giving him some time to throw, letting him do some things, and he really didn't have time all day.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think that was it. Look, I don't think Baker made some of the – I think he'd probably go back and tell you at least there were at least half a dozen, if not 10, decisions that he would have liked to have, taken back and altered the play a little bit, made a different choice. But he kind of played into the hands of the defense. But, boy, you're right. The defense really got after him. And I think it brings back – look, you've got it – again, Tristan Wirfs is playing exceptionally well, better than I thought he would. Luke Gedicke's probably playing better than I thought he would. But there's still going to be moments where those guys can get beat, and they're going to get beat by some of the better players that they go up against, and the whole line's going to have some issues. And, you're right. They had some issues there, and it just goes to show, again, you've got to continue to move the pocket with Baker. You can't just count on him being able to sit back there and the line hold up because it's probably not going to hold up consistently. You can say that about any line, but when you've got a guy like Baker who can roll it out, go ahead and roll him out and let him get out there and make some decisions on his own.
Talking with Roy Cummings about the Bucs. The Bucs are 3-2 and first in the NFC South by a half a game ahead of the Saints and Falcons. They host Atlanta this Sunday. We all know teams can improve throughout a season, and we're basically at the 1/3 poll, if you will. But is it also fair to maybe form a conclusion already about this Tampa Bay team that we know what they are? When they've gone up against Philly and Detroit, yeah, they got nothing for them. They really don't. Okay. Meanwhile, put them out there against the rest of the NFC, if you will, the jambalaya that's out there. Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, win, win, win. So what comes to town Sunday? Part of the jambalaya, right?
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I think we have learned over 5 weeks now that this is who they are. They're a good team, not a great team. They're scratching the surface of their ability. There's more there. There is definitely more there. But can they somehow bring it out? I don't know. Yeah, good enough to beat the best teams? Probably not. Not consistently. Good enough to beat up on the bad teams? Better hope so. So far, so good. But again, that's, I kind of thought that's where they would be. And, and I think there is time to figure it out and get better. There is time to, to figure out what to do with the run game.
You really think so? I'm glad you mentioned that first. You really think with what you see that there's a chance 8 weeks from now you're going to go, Moulton, I told you they'd establish a running game.
Yes. You've got 12 weeks. You got plenty of time. You've got your eye is on. You are at this point. You're in position to get to the playoffs, and all you have to. If you just keep winning the games you should win, beat up on the Atlantas, the Carolinas, and if you can somehow steal another one here, you're going to win 8-9 games. That's going to get you in somehow. I think. I'm sure of it. And if you get in, all you have to do by then, and again, you got 10 weeks plus to figure this out. How do we make the running game work? Does it work off the pass game? Do we bring in somebody else? Do we make some kind of a change? Do we go away from this zone blocking scheme and just start going straight ahead? Maybe that zone blocking thing is just a little bit too much for these guys. I don't know, but because I don't see a lot of vision in Rachaad White. There was a play last week where, he's got, 8-9 guys right in front of him and there's nothing to his right. And literally one player off and just, he couldn't see it. He couldn't see the opening. So I'm not sure Rachaad White's going to give you a whole lot in that regard. So I think you just got to play smash mouth and go straight ahead and play it that way.
Well, and Tampa's going to have to learn to win these games because Atlanta's got a pretty good defense. They're average, they're top 10 in opponents' yards per play. So, and have held Detroit to 20. So they've held teams that can score to lower points, even in games that they've lost. So this is going to have to be another game where, to me, Tampa's got to find a way in these slugfests to win these games. And that's part of the running game, Roy. I mean, to win these slugfest games, you've got to be able to run the football, and there's nothing that shows me they can.
Yeah, I still think there's not a great commitment to it, and it's understandable. When you don't get much out of it the first 4, 5, 8 times you're running it, you don't go back to it. But I think they maybe have to commit to it in one game. Maybe this is the week where you go up against I guess a weaker opponent. But again, that defense is solid in Atlanta. But here's the thing: I mean, half a game lead right now. You can't afford to lose one of these. All of a sudden, these games where you're playing a beatable team, you've got to win this.
Well,
but you've also got to figure out how to win it, and you got to think long term as well.
Listen, we thought going into the season, and we told you, we thought week 4 in New Orleans, that was the game that was going to tell us a lot. Well, they went and they won it. Now let's look at how big this game is. They've got Buffalo a week from today in Buffalo. Yeah. It's a short week on the road against one of the better teams in the league. The high expectation is they're not going to win that game. So you lose this game, you're basically 3-4. And do you know what's 5 days after the Buffalo game? The trade deadline. I mean, this is, I think, a really big game because you'd be naive if you're running the Bucs to not entertain a couple of phone calls if all of a sudden you lose to Atlanta and Buffalo and you're 3-4.
No, I agree with that. And I know the guy you're looking at, and it's Mike Evans. And has he played great to this point? Not really. Would he be the guy that you move at that point? Look, knowing Jason Light, I know he's going to wait until they are 3-4 before he makes that decision. You don't want to take away from this team when it's on a path to get there. You don't want to suddenly look at 3-4 as if it's 1-8 because it's not in this division and not in this conference. Yes, there are games that you're not expected to win, but you know what? You got to steal one here and then, here now and then, just like the Jets did. The Jets stole one against the Eagles. No one saw that coming. It's possible. You can do it. You've got the personnel to do it. You just got to clean some stuff up. They got sloppy last week, sloppy mentally. And that's easy to clean up. It's not like they're being outmanned. It's not like they're being outplayed. They just went out there and for whatever reason, just, missed some assignments coming off a bye week. Did that have something to do with it? Maybe. We'll see. But if you bounce back big this week and, win by a couple of scores, you'll be feeling pretty good about yourself going into Buffalo. I think that's got to be the goal.
What's the biggest fear of Atlanta's offense in your estimation? Is it Pitts? Is it Drake London? Is it Bijan Robinson? What is it that the Bucs have to stop in order to win?
Well, to me, it's Pitts because, and I think they're well set up for it. Look, the linebacking core for the Bucs we know is as good as there is. I think they take away a lot of options, but Pitts is as good as there is. I like him a lot. This is a game that they've got to be on the details defensively because Atlanta can score. They can. They haven't done it much, but they can put some points up against you because they do have some weapons. So yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned about that. And the other thing is you got to get back to being what you were. Stop that running game. Force them to throw those passes downfield that are coming, and get those safeties roaming out there and let them make a play on the ball.
Don't you think that this is a week where Todd goes really heavy with the blitz package? I mean, he's got a quarterback who's never won on the road, who's coming off a 3-interception home loss. And don't you think he is going to not only want to cut the head off the snake, he's going to want to crush it?
I'll never forget a game. First time Donovan McNabb played against the Bucs. He was a rookie, and they went after him. And this was Monty Kiffin, who wasn't much of a blitzer. They went after that guy. I see the same thing happening. To me, it's one of those unwritten rules in the NFL for defensive coordinators. When you face a rookie quarterback, put the pressure on like he's never seen it before and make him earn it. And I think they will. I think they will come hard. And again, that's why Pitts worries you, because if he's one-on-one, probably beat a couple of guys a few times, but you can't let the quarterback see him.
And yes, Ritter's technically not a rookie, but this is only his 5th road start, and he got a couple starts at the end of last year and what have you. All right, finally, so the creamsicles, okay, are they back for good? Okay, because it seemed like, Roy, it was a thing.
It was a thing, and it was, to me, it was a beautiful thing. And what was funny was, I remember, some of the announcers were saying, "Oh, I love these. They're some of the best in the NFL." The helmet for sure. But back in the day, they hated
ugly.
the uniform.
Everybody
hated
they were
the
ugly.
uniform. Now, it had a connotation with losing, and that was understandable. But from day one, I thought right up there with the old Patriots helmet, with the Patriot snapping the ball, and to me, the Green Bay helmet has just been a classic. The Colts, it's the best helmet in the NFL, easily one of the top 5. That's my opinion. I'd hold on to the uniforms. I'd do them again, but you know what? The old karma kind of came back, guys.
Damn right it did. I would retire those things forever, Roy. But the one thing I thought that really shocked me was the crowd all wearing it too, though. I mean, they're not going to do it because they're selling them and there's merchandise and there's money involved. But when the crowd shots were there, despite there being a lot of Honolulu blue in the crowd, everybody was wearing the creamsicle color that was there to watch the Bucs.
Look, there's a great nostalgia about it. It's kind of funny how we rewrite history a little bit. Everybody loves it now. They hated it then. It's kind of like how much people hated Doug Williams back in the day, and now, oh boy, if Doug Williams comes around, he's Buccaneers royalty. We was Buccaneers royalty anyway. The team just didn't treat him very well, and neither did the fans. They thought he was an idiot. They didn't think he was very good. They were wrong. They want to erase that part of the past. And it's the same with the creamsicle uniforms. Look, I love them. The problem is, guys, the Glazers do not like them. They believe as well that this is a throwback to a day when they were not a competitive team, when they were an embarrassment, when they were the butt of jokes around the league. And, that's why they changed the color scheme and the helmets and everything else in the first place. So that's going to have to change first. I don't know that it has yet. I haven't spoken to the boys lately, but my guess is they probably feel kind of the same. I think they were almost kind of coerced into this. They accepted it because everybody's doing it. But, if you want to appease the fans, do it more often.
He's Roy Cummings. He covers the Bucs, and he's done it for us for about 15 years. You can follow Roy on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Roy, as always, we thank you for your time and your insight. We wish you and the family all the best. How about you say next Thursday when it's game day?
Yeah, let's do it.
Roy Cummings joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. JP Shadrick on the other side of the top of the hour. It is game day for the Jags tonight in New Orleans. They could do the Bucs a favor. Think about how well the next 72 or so hours could go for the Bucs. If Jacksonville could take care of business and then they beat Atlanta, they're 4-2, and the two closest teams to them in the standings are 3-4, and they've got wins over both. That's the bright side. And then we, of course, know the other side. They could be in third place in 72 hours if they lose.
But it all starts with the Jags doing them a favor, beating the Saints on Thursday night. We'll talk with JP Shadrick, does the pre and post for the Jags. He's next on Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, Ambien, I think I'd have to root for the AFC team in the All-Florida Super Bowl because the one's never won it and the other hasn't won it in over 50 years. Well, good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Is that a Miller Lite thing in the back? What is that?
That is definitely a Miller Lite.
Miller Lite Jaguar Neon.
Wow.
However, it's broken. That's why I got it, because they were going to throw it away. So, hey, guess what? It's going to have a home at my house, so it's fine.
Nice. How are you?
I'm well. It's a big week. We got a lot going on. Jaguars tonight. Penn State, Ohio State Saturday. Leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot happening. So it's fun, man. Fun times. What's up with you guys?
Well, I just moved back into my condo. I'd lived in an Airbnb for 7 weeks. We moved back in last night. So,
and my life's incredibly boring, JP. You guys, I live vicariously through David's travels, and I get you about once a month. Although I got in the car, I had to run and do something Sunday morning, and I didn't realize you were on the call for Westwood One. I'm like, look at that, JP's doing play-by-play. That's awesome.
Was it worth a damn?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, that's good.
Great.
All right.
I got about 5 minutes. No,
you kept listening, so that's a good sign, I guess. Yeah, thanks. That was fun. It was a lot of fun in London.
That's when, for the two of us, when we're listening to you do a game, we want to roll down the window at a stoplight and go, I know this guy.
I don't know about that. No.
No.
That's funny.
Do you know of all the things, and Mark, I don't know, your mom now and mom and dad when he was alive, but JP, my mom gets the biggest kick, okay, when the 12 Sirius XM shows I do a year, she goes and she sits in her car because your name comes up on the display. She thinks that is the coolest thing.
Yep. I'm very fortunate to have both my parents still, and my dad especially listens to every show that we do. It could be Monday at 4. It could be Thursday at 4. It could be on some. I haven't told him about this one, so maybe if it did, he'd probably listen to this one too. But
no, he shouldn't. We need to keep him away from this.
But it's a special thing, man. I'm very fortunate to have him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my dad was the same. My dad, we did afternoons. My dad used to drive around and listen to the show. He'd go for a drive to listen. That was his thing.
Yep. No doubt.
His dad would occasionally talk to him about me, and Mark would look at him and go, "You do? I spent 4 hours with him, Dad. That's enough, really. Could we anything else?"
Well, that's when he was doing the columns. David wrote a column about this. No kidding. I just did 4 hours with him.
Dad, really?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard about. Yes.
God, he's the least interesting person I know. Right.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network on this Thursday. It is a game day for the Jags. And, well, we know somebody who covers the Jags. He works for them. It's JP Shadrick, part of the Jags radio network. He's also play-by-play, NFL, college football, Westwood One. He's got a ho-hum game this Saturday. Penn State at Ohio State. Nobody's interested in that. Hey, buddy, how you been?
I've been very well. It's nice to see you guys again and talk to you. There's been a lot going on. Jaguars are back stateside now, and they brought that mojo back from the UK and got a win over the Colts last week, and Gardner Minshew and took the ball away 4 times, and now all of a sudden they're first place, 4-2. They left the States 1-2 after a horrendous loss to the Texans. It was bad, and it was bad in all 3 phases. They couldn't figure out what the hell was going on, and they went to London and just kind of went out on the countryside for 2 weeks and came together, somehow cobbled together wins in London. They beat Houston. They beat Atlanta and, played well on defense and did enough on offense there. Trevor ran a little bit, and then they went across town to Spurs and beat the Bills and beat them well. The defense played big in that game. Trevor had a fantastic game, and they ran the ball when they needed to at the end. And then they brought it back home and did it again against the Colts. So, all right, maybe it's not a fluke. Maybe they're starting to figure out what they want to be. They haven't had that big offensive explosion yet, but they've got the defense that can go play.
What's happened, JP? Obviously, last year, the defense wasn't there. We talked about it in the preseason, but what has it that has clicked with this defense? Why is it so much better?
They're third in the league against the run. They stop the run. That is the first thing they answer every time I go in the locker room. Hey, what's going on with the pass rush? You guys are number 1 in takeaways. You're doing all these things, and we stop the run. That's the answer. and it sets up everything else. That's their number one priority every single time they go out there, no matter who they're playing. So, and it certainly was last week because the Colts were hanging their hat on running the football with Zach Moss and Taylor coming back, and they didn't do it. So they wanted to put it in the hands of Gardner Minshew to try to push it down the field. And we know from experience firsthand, when Gardner pushes it down the field, it doesn't go well a lot of times, and that's what happened in that game. So that's why that's the first thing. And then you can go off of that. Josh Allen's playing some of the best football he's played in his whole career on top of that. So we've talked about in the past around here, hey, does this defense really have a game-wrecking player? They don't have Max Crosby. They don't have Von Miller in his prime. They don't have an Aaron Donald. They've got a lot of good players. They don't have that one guy you have to plan around. And Josh actually heard that and took it to heart. He told me that. And you know what? I need to be that guy. That was his response to it. He wasn't mad about it. He wasn't angry at the criticism or the defense. It was a fair criticism. And he's taken that to heart. And he's really stepped up his game a lot. And the pass rush is there. He's pushing the pocket. He was all over the pocket last week. And that's a big reason why, too.
JP Shadrick, Jags Radio Network, Westwood One play-by-play of college and NFL. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at JP Shadrick.
Wait.
Hold on.
Whoa,
Let me just get the plug in.
whoa.
Hold on. JP Shadrick, JP SHADRICK. We have been saying Twix since pretty much the time you guys went across the pond. It's Twitter or X. We call it Twix. Okay? We think if we were a thing, popular, that this would catch on. But since we're Miller and Moulton, okay, it's like, oh, that's cute. Next. Okay, so that's our thing. It's Twix.
Isn't it already like copyrighted by the candy people? Like you can't do that.
Well,
Yeah, X was copyrighted as well. It didn't stop Elon Musk from renaming his Twitter platform then.
Well, X is one letter, so I mean you can't really copyright a letter, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
First off, can't we call it Twix? We're not selling T-shirts and hats, okay? I mean, can't we just call it Twix? And by the way, Twix, and then we say Twitter/X, okay? See, that's where we're trying to get around the copyright there, JP.
Well, I don't know all the rules of that, but you tread on your own on that one. I mean, hey, that's up to you guys. I'm just a guest. I don't work here. For the record, people, I don't work here. I'm just a guest.
Very quickly, JP. We're not popular. If we were, A, it'd be a thing, and B, we'd be sued. But since we're not popular, it's not a thing, and we're not being sued.
Well, Twitter's not a thing. Tweets are not a thing anymore, but X is a thing, and posts on X are a thing, and that's what it is. That's okay. Hey, you do you, man. It's fine.
Why the first one to come at us negatively on Twix? Most people have liked it. They've been impressed by it, or at least slightly amused.
Yeah.
JP wanted to stop the show, and he makes posts on X. He will be posting on X probably at some point later today about when the pregame show starts. I would assume that would be happening. All right. The Saints.
It's at 5:00, by the way, and then 7:00 for countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network. And I'll post that on X later. Yes.
Perfect.
Good. We'll post it on Twix. So there.
On X for you when I see it later today. Saints have a pretty good D. What is it? And I guess let's skip that. Is Trevor going to play tonight?
Yeah, I mean we're burying the lead here, right? I think he is. They've been playing some poker this week. I mean, it has been an interesting dynamic to hear Doug Peterson dance around this thing. He said the other day at the press conference on Monday, they asked, "Hey, what's going on with Trevor's knee? Is it a sprain? Is it a ligament? Is that?" He's like, you got to ask Ferguson, the trainer. And okay, well, is it like what is it? He's like, that's not my jurisdiction. He's day to day. It's like, wait, what is going on here?
What do you mean it's not your jurisdiction? You're the head coach.
The whole place is like your jurisdiction. But I think that's just him trying to make it he knew it was going to be a story, obviously,
Sure.
and he wanted to carry it along as the week went. It's a short week. They wanted to give the Saints as much problems as they could. he came out there on Tuesday with a brace on his knee and practiced and didn't do a lot of the first team reps, if you will, air quotes I'm using on radio. So they have, CJ Beathard's the backup. It was more of a walkthrough tempo anyway. He's limited. He was limited Tuesday and Wednesday and questionable for the game. So I think it's truly, how does he feel today? And it's Trevor's call. If he's not feeling like he can protect himself and run around, that's the real problem.
Okay, there's two things. First off, when they promoted the third stringer, Nathan Rourke, and put him on the active roster, to most of us, and certainly to Vegas, that was a tell that Trevor's not going to play. The line moved 3 points. Okay, do you think that was a tell?
I think they had to. So this is me thinking, right? Okay, in the past, bringing another quarterback up, that can't be good. Well, remember the new rule for the emergency third quarterback: you have to be signed to the roster. You cannot be elevated on game day from the practice squad. You have to be signed. So that was the difference in the wording of what happened with Rourke yesterday. He was actually signed to the roster. And that way he can be an emergency third quarterback if Trevor is hurt in the game and Beathard for some reason is hurt or ejected or whatever the hell happens to him, right? That's when the emergency quarterback can be activated in a game. It doesn't count against your limit on game day. So I think, I don't know anything. I'm just speculating that would be the reason for that wording, because why would you sign him? Unless there's something really wrong with Trevor. And Trevor told us firsthand, there's nothing wrong with me. It's nothing like long-term. So, okay, if it's just to get through a game, maybe you just elevate him from the practice squad and bring him back down on Monday. But I don't know.
The other thing, JP, and we're pressed for time here, that we talked about is no quarterback throws more passes outside the pocket than Trevor. So there's good enough to play, but there's good enough to be Trevor Lawrence, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He's not Brady, where he can live 8 yards behind center. I mean, you see the offense. He's got to be on the move in this offense.
Well, yeah, especially the last 3 weeks, so he's running around for first downs and doing what he's doing, right, in London. 2 weeks in a row, he's running like a deer all over Wembley Stadium. So, you better protect. And they've had injuries on the offensive line, too. So that's the big question mark. If he's going to play, he better play like Brady, because he ain't going to be running around with that brace on. I mean, I'll tell you that. I mean, maybe he will. He's never worn one. Like he told us the other day, I've never had a knee injury. So this is the first time I've ever put a brace on my leg in my life. It's just weird walking around with it. Well, it's really weird when you're trying to stand back there and run around in the pocket. So let's see, maybe they figured something out yesterday. I mean, just the way that the tone was the other day felt to me like he was going to give it a go, because he's a tough guy. But they do have a lot of football ahead. It's a short week. They've got a long weekend ahead off, and then they're playing Pittsburgh on the road next week. Then they have a bye. So they've got some time, and then they can maybe get on track, because guess what? The San Francisco 49ers come to town right after the bye week. Strap in and hang on.
There's no doubt there. And, can they just win this handing the ball off tonight? ATN's been running a hell of a lot better. I mean, to me, can you get away with not having Trevor run around tonight and still win this football game?
He's arguably the best player and the MVP of this team right now. I mean, he's leading the league in carries. They're not scared to give it to him. He's running differently. I mean, we talked in the offseason about how he's changed his style a little bit, or adjusted it to the NFL, where he's not telling defenders where he's running before with just his body language and his shoulders and things. That's worked. He's more of an aggressive runner through the hole now and not just to it. And he's number one in the league in forced missed tackles. That's fantastic. So maybe that is a play, because this is a pass rush and a defensive line that can get home. Well, you know how to slow that down, is to run the football effectively.
All right, 30 seconds. Your Saturday assignment, Penn State, Ohio State. In your prep, is there something that jumps out at you either way?
I think this is Penn State's best team that James Franklin's had. I think it's the team that, if they don't do it now, I don't know when they're going to do it. This is the team to go beat Ohio State. They've got defense. They've got a running game that won't quit with two great running backs. They've got a quarterback that they really love for the future, who can throw it around, no interceptions. If they protect the ball, run it, and play solid defense against those playmakers, I think they can go win this game in the Horseshoe. And they better, because if they don't, they won't get there. If they do, the last time they did, they got to the Big Ten championship game. That's their only shot.
JP Shadrick. Westwood won Saturday afternoon. He'll have Penn State, Ohio State tonight. Jags Radio Network, Jags in New Orleans to face the Saints. Follow him on Twix, even though he hates that. JP Shadrick, Shadrick.
You know what I really hate? We ran out of time. We don't have time. You
want to come back next segment?
Come on.
All right. Then JP Shadrick in 7 minutes. We'll argue some more.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. With a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Don't tempt us with doing a second segment.
I just wrecked your whole show. I apologize.
Not at all.
I'm up. I'm here. I got nothing. What else am I going to do today? I got nothing.
Not
to do.
at
I got to
all.
work till at 4. So, yeah. Sorry, Dave.
That's okay. You're on that short list of people that call me Dave that my mom likes.
Love it.
JP and I had a Twitter X, whatever we're calling it, flashback last night. He tweeted out who ran that play recently?
It was last night. It was Sam Houston.
The holder flips it over the thing, and the
Okay,
guy
the Boise
runs.
State play.
And so
it was the fake field goal. The holder flipped it over his head to the kicker running right.
And so JP remembered that because he was spotting for Vern in Baton Rouge when LSU did it to Spurrier in South Carolina.
That was a trend. They actually, I think they scored on the play.
They did score on the play.
And Sam Houston didn't score. It failed.
No.
It was fourth and goal, and they didn't make it. They had to give it up. But that was a wild one. That was some wild times at LSU.
And someone else took to Twitter to also remind the both of us that Les Miles did it again, like 2014 or 15 in the swamp, and it helped beat the Gators.
Yeah. See, at first I thought I couldn't remember if that was the Florida game in 07 that one of the 5 fourth downs, but it wasn't.
No, it was
South
Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had a great cutaway, Mark. We got Spurrier with the headset and the visor, and he just kind of looked over at Les and nodded his head like, that was a good one. All right, you got us. That was a good one. Okay. Yeah.
I tell you what, we missed some of those personalities in college football today. I mean, Steve was the number one all time. And then Les wasn't far off because he had his moments and interviews and things. Oh, gosh.
Well, I tell you, wish Coach O could coach, because just for the halftime interviews, it was in and of itself, just getting Coach O on camera for 30 seconds is worth it.
Yep. There's no doubt. Who would be in that realm today? The guys this weekend are not like that. They're CEO types.
He's not super popular and he's not wildly successful, but Mike Gundy, does he qualify?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Well,
Hell yeah, he qualifies.
Which was like 11, 12 years ago now, but yeah.
More than that.
Jenny Carlson was the lady who wrote that article in the Oklahoman, by the way, I think it was about a quarter, something going on. And there was some criticism, and he just let it rip. And the editor, I think was in Tampa for a while. Mike Sherman, I think, was in Tampa.
How
he
about
was the editor? And he let it roll.
Twitch chat room nominating Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Nominating PJ Fleck, who will be out of coaching in 3 years, by the way. He's a fraud, and it's going to end badly.
Row the boat faster, because better row
off the cliff,
row
off the flat earth, and
better row quick. Yeah. But yeah, Lane's in that realm, yes, because especially on X, where he posts a lot.
He does
follow.
He's a fun follow. I agree.
He is.
Sometimes he's funny, sometimes a motivator, sometimes he's a little religious, and you never know where Lane's going to go.
Or sometimes he's, trying to tweak somebody.
Yep.
All in one. And
sometimes.
Yeah. Like all the time. Gosh, who else? Jimbo's not that.
Harbaugh can be.
Not that.
You know who's better when he's not being a raging blankety blank? Kirby this year is getting better.
Really?
He's still too much of a raging blankety blank, but when he's not, he's actually giving really good material. He's actually answering things for the first time.
I've got to admit, I will say I caught a little bit of McAfee's show when he had Saban on.
10 seconds.
And he finishes it and he's going, all right, now win by 37. We'll have you on next week. And the look that Nick gave him was priceless.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. We do have some business we need to attend to for 15 seconds. Dr. Roto will be on in a little more than 15 minutes to answer your fantasy football questions. Now would probably be a decent time to start submitting your questions, whether it be on the text line at 21,000 or in our Twitch chat room. And we do have a poll question. Which upset is more likely to happen this weekend? The Dolphins going into Philly and beating the Eagles, or Penn State going into Columbus and beating the Buckeyes? JP Shadrick will be calling that game on Westwood One Radio. And because I think we woke him up and got him up, he's like, well, since you got me, I'm not just doing 12 minutes, okay? I mean, I want to do more. So JP continues to join us.
Hey, it's nice to be with you. Did you do that intro music in your beat laboratory there, David? Or where did you get that?
That's actually where we got. We have a friend who creates his own music, so we can run our music on the different forums.
That's
not
smart.
get it bounced off. It's
smart. It's nice.
Oh, so that's a good one. Twix, no, but our rejoiner music is a yes. Okay.
Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
That's good to know. Hey, do you think the Jags, is London a home away from home for them, really? Or is that just something we in the media say because it's quaint and it's easy to conclude? Or because they now go there every year, that actually there's a decent amount of the team like you've been going for a decade now. Like, do you have regular people that you meet with, places you stay and go to? I mean, is it a thing?
For me, yeah. I mean, I love it there. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like you're walking around and doing events in pubs, and you're doing events at historic places, and you can go back when I was running, you could go for a run by Buckingham Palace. You're smoking cigars in the oldest cigar shop in the world. I mean, like there's all these great places to go and eat and do and see. Now, after a decade of doing it, you've seen a lot of them, right? So it's really about finding a routine and then getting back to work. I mean, at some point, there are games on Sunday too, and that's at least in my preparation for it. The team is different now. They're not staying down in town. They're out in the countryside. So they have the Jaguars had to change hotels. That was part of, I think, a little bit of the logistical challenge this past time. They stayed at one place called the Grove up in Watford, so northwest of London. It used to be, I think it was Queen Victoria's old summer home or something. Nice place. And then it's now a resort.
Okay.
It's fine.
I mean, it's not Ponte Vedra Beach, but whatever.
But they did play a World Golf Championship there. Whatever. It's fine. So they stayed there. They built a football field on property for the NFL because one team always stays there. And then because the Jaguars were the road team game too, the NFL controlled the hotels. And there was some kind of convention in the midweek at the Grove that was pre-booked. They couldn't change. So the Jaguars had to move. They had to move to another resort northeast of town, even further out for the whole second week. So I think if they could figure out staying in one place for 2 weeks, that would be a little better on the logistics.
Have they developed any kind of a fan base over there? Or is this just still mostly Americans that are around Europe going, hey, it's NFL, I'm going to a game on Sunday?
Well, I mean, the first game, you could feel a lot of Jaguar people in that place. I mean, it wasn't like going into the bank still. I mean, here in Jacksonville, it's not that strong of a presence. But over the years, yes, there are many more Jaguar jerseys and shirts and things and cheering at the proper time. And, except when Sweet Caroline was on. So they played it out of a timeout. Yes, Sweet Caroline. And everybody, it's like everybody's singing along. Well, Trevor Lawrence is under center or in the shotgun, right? And they turn the music off. They just kept screaming the song like during the signal. Like, wait a minute, Jags are on offense here. Like, what is going on? But so there's a little of that still from time to time. I will say it was a Bills home game.
Yes, it was.
They were using silent count in that stadium because the Bills people came out strong for that game at Spurs.
So Goodell comes out last week, and we don't know if he's just caught up in the hype of, promoting the International Series games, but he says, yeah, we've talked about a Super Bowl over here. Okay, you've covered the Super Bowl. Jacksonville 20 years ago hosted a Super Bowl. You know what all is involved. Could you see a Super Bowl in Europe in your career? And you're in your early 40s.
Yeah, I would say I would have to probably be in my 60s for that to happen. I mean, I think we know how it goes with Super Bowls. You build a new stadium, you usually get one. You get a new franchise. A lot of times you might get one in a new place, that has a new stadium. That's kind of what happened, I think, in the Jacksonville situation. They were somewhat new, and the owners loved the owner, and they got a Super Bowl in Jacksonville and made it happen. I think, and there was a league executive that kind of walked that back after the fact that, yeah, we have talked about what it could be, but that's a long way. That's a long vision down the road. That's not a next 5-year vision or anything. It would have to be teams in Europe and things happening, and that's what it would take, I think, to make that even a possibility. And forget that, the timing of it, when does it start?
How do you have it there? It's
a sacred day. Like it is the holiest of holy days in NFL calendars. So you have to be very careful with what you do with the Super Bowl and the game. If they did it, I think it would be a long way off when the NFL is a totally bigger, different thing than we can even fathom right now. I mean, they're talking about playing games in Madrid and Rio next year, on top of Germany, on top of UK. So that's only going to grow. What's the end game of that? hey, they're still trying to figure that out and build toward whatever that is. But I could see that maybe in 25 years.
Okay, and we've got 2 minutes tops. Could you see?
Why are we always out of time?
Well, because our segments are short. Okay, that's why. But and we talk a lot. All three of us talk a lot. So the time, it's actually a decent amount of time. We just all talk too much.
Yeah.
So now in 90 seconds, all right, could you see a European division? You know the logistics. You know it more than 99% of the people involved in the NFL. You know what it takes to hold games in Europe, to travel to and from the whole deal. Could you see a 4-team European division?
I think that's probably what they would envision at some point. What does that feel like? Are there teams moving over there? Are they expanding and adding 4 teams? Because you'd have to have everybody go travel and play the 4 or 2 and come back and play 2 more and come back. And it's a lot. There's a lot of that to deal with. Also, how many franchise quarterbacks are there in the NFL right now? That's what sells the game. How many people are clamoring for quarterbacks right now. You add 4 more teams and they can't block them anyway. So you're going to add 4 more offensive lines for a league that has issues finding offensive linemen and franchise quarterbacks. That is not the best of sales pitches to new fan base in Europe if you're going to do that. So,
Mark, that's really cute of JP. Okay, we've got 30 seconds. Isn't that cute? JP thinks the NFL owners actually care about the quality of the product.
I know. Maybe I'm naive.
Enough quarterbacks and offensive linemen. Isn't that cute?
All they care about is getting that 1-score game in the fourth quarter to fool us every week that the play is a lot better than it is. It's exceptional in some spots, but we get a lot of bad play as well every Sunday.
JP,
wait till Thursday. Thursday night, too.
Right. We're just getting going with those. Exactly.
Yeah.
JP, that answer tells me you need a nap before Jags pregame. That's what I'm saying. JP Shadrick, Jags Radio Network tonight, and then Westwood 1 Saturday afternoon, Penn State and Ohio State. JP, thanks for being a great sport. Safe travels. Have a great call. We'll talk to you soon.
I love you guys. I'm going to take a nap and going back to bed. Have a great day.
JP Shadrick. Get your fantasy questions in for Dr. Roto next.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Robert, I am definitely of the belief we're going to have a European division.
It's just when, it's not if.
And I think they're going to add 4 teams, by the way. I don't think they're going to move 4 franchises. Even though I do think there's a couple of franchises whose owners actually would volunteer. But I think they're going to add 4 teams because, Mark, what comes with expansion franchises?
Expansion fees.
And if
it'll be $3 billion.
If a baseball expansion fee is expected to be $2 billion, what do we think?
$3 billion, David.
At least. Yes. So do the math, and the owners get to keep that for themselves.
They don't share it with the players. It's not collectively bargained. So that's $12 billion
divided by
32.
Really 31. I don't know if the Packers get any. I'm kidding. And Robert Linden, huh? My dad's side of the family. All in Linden. All grew up there and what have you. Get your fantasy questions in.
Hey, have you reached out by chance to Chastain's people or to Homestead? He's doing all these appearances around here.
Yep.
Nothing?
I'm getting nothing. I have totally gotten shut out with Homestead and Chastain. I have emailed their media people directly. Can't even get a response. I've had John try on our behalf. Nothing.
They're running all kinds of ads of these appearances he's doing around here next week, too. I figured you had. I just brought it up.
Yep.
Because I literally just had someone reach out about wanting to know about marketing opportunities on the show.
This just in, we have them.
Well, I think we're going to get something out of the tip-off. They don't need it for the big boy tournament. The big boy tournament sold out.
They need it for the women?
The women on Thanksgiving Day, they're going to make a buy for. That because it's on Fox.
Yes, it is.
Tennessee and Indiana.
Kind of stinks that at the same weekend that the tip-off is happening is when the Gulf Coast Showcase is happening.
Yeah.
You got Caitlin Clark coming in town.
Right.
Like, wouldn't you want those tournaments to be on different weekends?
They're not run by the same people.
Well, I know, but
they don't care. One tournament doesn't care about ticket sales. The other one does.
Also, one tournament has a network TV deal and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Intersport.
And one has a big-time marketing company running it and the other one doesn't.
Intersport.
One has a CEO that lives in Naples. The other doesn't.
The CEO of Intersport lives in Naples?
Correct.
Correct.
Half the year.
Nice. Half the year, right. Snowbird.
All right, get Roto on.
All right, get your questions in, folks.
Yeah, I'm trying to find mine. Let's pull up my league. Lost by 4 points. Lost by 2 points last week. 2 points. 2.
All right, got it, Michael.
All right, he's on. Let's go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Is that guitar or bass?
Bass. You can't play the guitar up that high. You can't strum.
Right.
But you can thap the bass way up high. Get that thumb into it.
Just kind of curious. 22 minutes before the hour. It's our final segment along the network. And on Thursdays during football season, that means Dr. Roto making his weekly house call. You can follow him on Twitter/X at Dr. Roto, DRROTO. While you're doing that, log on to drroto.com. It's a tremendous fantasy website. He has a very impressive, knowledgeable staff who wins you a lot of money, actually, not just on fantasy, but on maybe a few other things as well. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Is Felipe the DJ there going with that move DJ?
He is.
Okay, it's really gets you going for the fantasy segment. Let me tell you that right now.
Maybe more than this Thursday night game will, Doc.
Well, I mean, look, you got two good teams. You know, you got the Saints and Jags. You know, Amazon always gets the best games on Thursday night, as you well know.
Right.
So, I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence, who may not play because he's got a bad knee. And you got the Saints at home, who play well. So, Vegas has this game at about a 40 spot, and that's what I think you're going to see. You're going to see about 40 spots. Vegas has a lot of games very low this week. So I think the overs are going to win. You know, people get overreact to last week. So be on the watch for that.
All right. Send in your questions. 21,000 on the text line. If you're watching on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, next 10 or so minutes is the time to ask your question. Well, Michael Hornung, the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, sponsors this segment, by the way. All right. And he submitted his first ever question sponsoring this segment this year, in which he says, listen, I got Trevor Lawrence with Kirk and Ingram. I stack them. Well, what if Trevor doesn't play? What should I do with the other guys?
Well, that's a really good question, because the backup is going to be C.J. Beathard, and that's not going to be pretty. So, and so what you have to say is this: what is the upside of a C.J. Beathard on the road in a very difficult place to play? 180 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's the upside. I mean, if he has a good game, maybe it's 202 yards and a touchdown. So you got to be. I don't want to bench Kirk, especially because the Saints are bad against slot receivers, but the Saints are good against tight ends. They are. They're good against tight ends. So if there's no Lawrence, I could easily not play Ingram this week.
Speaking of tight ends, got a question. Is there a tight end you should be thinking about streaming this week for DFS or even for your regular leagues when you're just trying to work a tight end in?
I think there are two tight ends that need to be on everyone's radar right now. First is Michael Mayer, the pick out of Notre Dame. It just seemed like last week was his first week where it was his coming out party. So all of a sudden he had like 10 fantasy points. That came out of nowhere. And I really like Trey McBride. It feels like, you know, Zach Ertz has had a couple of good games in the beginning, but he slowed down a little bit. Maybe he gets traded to a team that's trying to win. But McBride is the future there. And he has a really good matchup against the Seahawks. So either of those guys could be, you know, nice sleepers.
Coach Grizzle wants to know, is Sam Howell a fantasy-worthy quarterback if you have an injury?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, he threw 3 touchdown passes last week. I mean, he's not great, but he's playing the Giants. So, I mean, you're probably looking at 230 yards and 2 touchdowns this week. So, look, I think a Sam Howell is a great guy to have on a bench. Kind of like a Derek Carr to me. You know, he's like that backup that you hope you never have to play, but if you need him for that one game or two, you can play him. So, I mean, and he's mobile. So, especially this week, if you need him with all these teams on bye, you got 6 teams on bye. Howell's definitely in play.
Standard PPR need one running back, Hunt, Robinson, or Rashad White. And I think it's Bijan Robinson. He just got B. Robinson, so there you go.
What does standard PPR mean?
I think it's just 1 point PPR. I'm with
okay.
you. I don't know what standard. When I read that,
either standard or PPR, right?
It's one or the other.
PPR. Yeah, because then you're confusing me. All right, who are the guys again? Rashad White,
Hunt, and Bijan Robinson.
Oh, yeah, we always look. Bijan Robinson, dare I say, has been a slight disappointment, but you're never benching him, right? You're never benching him. So Hunt didn't practice. I don't hate the matchup, but Jerome Ford is still there, and Jerome Ford is better. And then let me just say this about White. White is getting these like empty opportunities. He gets a lot of opportunities on the field. He just hasn't done enough with them. And I think there's everybody to blame. It's a little bit of the offensive line. It's a little bit of White. It's a little bit of Baker. It's a little bit of everything. So I don't think they're calling great plays there in Tampa. So, I mean, you guys watch the games. Does it look like the guy's calling a great game? I don't. This doesn't look like inventive football to me there.
All right, I've got a lot of PPR questions as well. The first one, this guy has his number one wideout, Jamar Chase, on a bye. PPR, Pickens or Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, so this one is a little tougher because you really want to play Deebo Samuel. You're dying to play Deebo Samuel, but he's not. You won't know until Monday night. What I would probably do in this situation is, I think Pickens is a good start. He's a good start. I have no problem using him. If you don't want to use him and you want to use Deebo, try to find a guy in the Monday night game and just stash him on your roster. So let's just say KJ Osborne's out there in your league. You go pick him up, and then you wait. And if Deebo plays, you play Deebo. If Deebo sits, you play KJ Osborne. But if you can't wait, or if those guys aren't out there and you need to play Pickens, he's a fine. He's a B+ start where Deebo's an A-.
Mike Evans or Rashee Rice? Who you starting?
I mean, look, you're not starting Rashee Rice just yet. I mean, he's a good player, and I think he's evolving into being their leading receiver. But that playing Mike by inches last week.
McCaffrey or David Montgomery at tailback?
Well, Montgomery's going to be out for the next 3 weeks. So that'd be a bad life decision.
McCaffrey questionable for Monday night. They're leaning he'll be playing, but we'll see.
Right, but that's one where you pick up a Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell and you just stash them there and you wait. And do I think McCaffrey plays? I think there's a pretty good chance that he plays. I do. The Vikings' run defense has been good, but they're not good against pass catchers out of the backfield.
Tyler Lockett or Zay Flowers? PPR.
I love Tyler Lockett this week. I do. I think he's in a great spot, and I think he scores a touchdown.
PPR, Gibbs or Foreman?
I don't like Donta Foreman very much, to be quite honest with you. The Raiders defense is pretty good. So, I mean, that game I expect to really kind of stink. You don't have Justin Fields, and I don't know. It could be a messy game. So I would not do that at all. I would not play him at all.
Doubs, Ridley, or Sutton? Which wide receiver are you playing?
That's an interesting question. Sutton obviously has the best matchup, I would think, but Dobbs has a good matchup because the Broncos let everybody score. But Ridley, you want to play, but what do you do if Beathard's there? Wow. I think I wait on Ridley. If Lawrence plays, I know it sounds crazy. I may bench Ridley tonight and go for somebody in that Denver-Green Bay game, maybe Sutton.
Empire wants to know, do you trust Saquon Barkley going forward? You know, he played banged up, 90-something yards, no touchdowns. He's banged up, though. He's not Saquon. Do you trust him going forward?
I mean, look, running back this year has been a real nightmare, hasn't it? Yeah, guys, Felipe and I were talking before I came on the show. Zach Evans, you're like going after Zach Evans and spending a ton of your free agent bidding money on a guy who was a third stringer this year who shared time at Ole Miss. So, I mean, do I take a chance on Barkley? Yeah, I take a chance on Barkley. Would I rather have Barkley or spend a third of my fab money on a dude that won't be playing in 2 weeks?
Half PPR, McLaughlin, Dillon, or Murray? Which running back you going with for his RB2?
All right, never play A.J. Dillon, whatever you do in life. He's just bad. Just bad. Okay? Lat Murray, that's an interesting one because he is the goal line back there now. And, Damian Harris, that was really sad to see. Hopefully he'll be back at some point this season. I like McLaughlin. I do. But, man, Sean Payton just loves to piss fantasy football managers off because they rotate running backs. But he, to me, has the most juice. So I think if you're in a standard league, I would play Murray. If I'm in a half-point PPR or full-point PPR, I would play McLaughlin and hope he makes a couple of plays.
Listen, let's be honest. Who isn't Sean Payton honking off these days? I mean, his own team, the opposing teams, fantasy people. I mean, honestly, is Sean Payton anybody besides his tax accountant happy?
Yeah, and you know, it's weird because I really, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I would have put him in when he was back in a few years ago before he left. He was in the top 5 of coaches. Did he lose it? I don't think you lose that kind of ability. I think he's at a team that has a bad quarterback. Yeah, Russell Wilson's a bad quarterback right now, right? And I think they've got a lot of mid players. They've got a lot of bad guys on defense. And, you know, the problem, though, is why isn't he playing Marvin Mims more? Why aren't they designing plays for Jerry Jeudy more? Greg Dulcich is going back on the IR. I mean, why are they not playing McLaughlin more? It just seems like it's just this random, let me just throw some dudes out there. I mean, it's okay if I lose this year type of vibe.
Got a trade question here. Said someone wants to trade me Breece Hall and St. Brown for Tyreek Hill, and I need a running back PPR league. Your thoughts?
Well, if there was ever a trade that I would trade Tyreek Hill for, that might be it. Because I will give you one bit of advice. Breece Hall's schedule coming up is terrific. It is really good, and he's looked good. So my only problem with that deal is that St. Brown has a bye week in week 9. So it's like just when you're getting your new toy, it's gone for a week, right? You have it in week 8, you're gonna be really excited, and then week 9 you're not. I hate trading Tyreek Hill, but that's probably as close as you can get.
We talked about this before the season started. The Jets' first 6 games was a gauntlet, and then they've got 2 months where there's a bunch of wins there, and he's the focal point of their offense. So I love that call. All right, full PPR, Michael Thomas, George Pickens, Curtis Samuel. Which one?
Yeah, Pickens. Pickens is clearly the best player.
Need a QB starter. Geno, Watson, and Stroud. Who you going with?
Well, Stroud's on a bye, so don't do that.
That's
Watson's
probably a good
injured,
idea.
So don't do that. But Geno's playing the Cardinals, so you should do that.
PPR, Mayer, or Musgrave?
That's a close one. So you know that Denver's the worst team in the league against opposing tight ends. And I've got some really good stat here. The last 3 weeks, they've led up 27 points, 10 points, and 24 points against tight ends. So, but then again, Chicago has been awful too. They've led up a ton of points. So the big question is this: is Mayer really the guy? And remember, last week, Bill Belichick made it his business to not let Davante Adams beat him. So I think you got to be careful there with Mayer because Davante Adams is going to get his. My friend covers the Raiders, and basically he said the following: Adams is okay scoring 5 or 6, fantasy points a week, so long as the Raiders win. If the Raiders lose and that happens, watch out. He's going to demand a trade and get out of there in 2 seconds.
Well, Davante pretty much said that publicly earlier this week, in which he's like, it's time to start getting me the ball. I've been nice about this for a while, but it's time to start getting me the ball. Which running back you have more faith in going forward, Etienne or Kenneth Walker?
That's a great question. I would say Etienne only because he's a little bit better as a receiver, and Zach Charbonnet is still hanging out in Seattle, and I do have respect for him.
Musgrave, Mayer, or Kmet? Which tight end would you play?
Probably go with Musgrave because Tyson Badgett, I think, threw the ball 45% of the time to DJ Moore.
PPR flex, Stevenson or Metcalf?
Oh, all day DK Metcalf in that matchup. I mean, Stevenson did score last week, which is good to see, but I mean, don't the Patriots just look really bad to you? Like if Bill Belichick's name was Bill, Bronson, would they have not have fired this dude 2 years ago?
Well, they certainly would be firing him at the end of this season. Year 2, they won 10 games, made the playoffs. Last year, if they had won the final game of the regular season, they would have made the playoffs. But this year, with it bottoming out, they would get rid of him.
I mean, he despises Mac Jones. It's obvious. Mac Jones despises him. It's obvious. Bill O'Brien didn't save anything. I mean, Zeke is past his prime. They don't have one receiver who would start on any other team. I mean, and then they lost their 2 best defensive players. Doesn't feel good to me.
PPR, Tyler Lockett, Jacoby Myers, or T. Higgins?
Did I mention how much I like Tyler Lockett? People out there have got to be careful. You guys are naming me a lot of guys who are on bye, such as T. Higgins. Please check. There's 6 teams on bye. Please be very careful and make some waiver wire pickups because I can't have you get a 0.
Would you stash Kyler Murray?
Yes, especially because when you're playing guys like Derek Carr and Minshew, and I would stash him for sure.
He's Dr. Roto. You can hear him Saturday mornings on SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Radio. Check out his website, drroto.com, drroto.com. And speaking of that drroto, that's how you follow him on Twitter/X. Doc, thanks for your weekly house call, brought to you by the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. We really appreciate it.
Guys, can't wait to see you next week. Take care. Dr.
Roto joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Man, that was another fast show.
Time for the bonus hour. That's how we do it. That's next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Found out the point guard of my high school basketball team passed a few days ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we won a state title. He won a natty with the community college a couple of years later. Good player. Good kid. 54.
That sucks. Coach Grizzle, his name is Chad. No, we can't talk about how good the Browns are today.
Because they're not good.
Yeah,
they're a great defense.
That's an inside joke. He produces a radio show for a Browns fan who talks about the Browns in a part of the country where they don't give a crap about the Browns.
Oh,
so I think that's an inside, little. Hey, by the way, you asked 2 or 3 fantasy questions, and Bob Clark as well. I asked you. I'm just letting you know. I only do 1 question per person, and I do the first one. You submit.
And you bastards that put 1 question in the Twitch chat room and then text another one. Don't think I don't see both your questions.
Now, I got to admit, I give you credit for doing that.
I give you credit, but that's why I called you a name. You sons of.
Now, Felipe, on the other hand, he gets a couple minutes with Roto before air, so he's asking him at least 1 fantasy question. He submits a fantasy question.
That's an awful question.
But I do him a solid, and I ask it, even though Roto then goes, could everybody please check if your guys are on buys? And so then Felipe doubles down on the awfulness by letting Roto hang up on the air. Okay.
Yep. Hung up on the air.
Our first couple of guests.
No.
Were
Hung up on the air.
Our first couple of guests were on the link. The whole phone. I'm not even going to.
You called them.
Press the button.
That is worse than what my daughter yesterday got mad at me because I told her to do something, and she's starting to get an attitude. David, mother of God.
Well, I wonder where she gets.
No kidding, right? So she's got her computer, and I make her shut it because she's not allowed to have electronics during the week.
Right.
And she tosses her computer on the couch. She just kind of, she's sitting on the couch and she tosses it down next to her.
Okay.
It falls off the couch onto the ground. It didn't break. And it was her school computer. But I'm like, you threw your computer on. I did not throw it. I threw it on the couch. Where did it? She was blaming the couch for the computer phone. That's like Felipe blaming the phone system for not taking the guy off the air.
He was basically saying, well, since the first 2 guys were on link, I didn't have to do anything. So I thought I didn't have to do anything this time too. Basically, I'm not really paying attention, guys. Got to be honest.
Look at Grizzle sticking up for you. You whatever.
Exactly. One producer sticking up for another.
What? Coach Grizzle, you need to shut up. I messed up.
It's not my wall, guys. It's not my wall.
Mark doesn't even want to be there.
I actually like coming in. I'd rather do it here than at home.
Okay.
I like coming in. I like the whole idea of going to work in the morning. It's, you go to work on the weekend, so you don't have, if you just did this from home and you're doing nothing else, it's really weird.
It actually, it has affected my life in a negative way. I don't.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Thursday as we have made the turn for home this week. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Another good show if you're just joining us that you've missed, so you'll need to go to floridasportsnetwork.com and, catch a solid fantasy segment with Dr. Roto. Before that, 2 segments with JP Shadrick, which we talked not just Jags, but a little Ohio State, Penn State, and also the NFL over in Europe, since he goes every year with the Jags. And Roy Cummings, talk of Bucs, who have a rooting interest in tonight's Jags-Saints game, that is for sure. Now, Mark, took a look at the game and the roster move that the Jags made yesterday when they promoted their 3rd-string quarterback, Nathan Rourke, and put him on the 53-man roster as a tell that Trevor Lawrence wasn't going to play tonight. JP said, guys, I got to admit my gut feeling, and believe me, I know I work for the organization. I'm in the building. They haven't told me a damn thing. But I saw it as the new NFL emergency 3rd quarterback rule. The guy can't be on the practice squad on game day. He's got to be on the roster 24 hours before. So he took it as, I think they're going to try Trevor And then if they realize, oh, he can't go, well, then they don't just have CJ Beathard. They've got somebody else as well.
Yeah, Ridley won't have to take snaps from center if Beathard goes out of the game, or whomever their third string is without the emergency guy up. So that is another way to look at it, and that's what JP pointed out to us about an hour ago.
But it's a virtual toss-up tonight. The Saints, who were a 2-point underdog at this time yesterday, are now a 1-point favorite. I thought Dr. Roto pointed out something interesting. Do you agree? And this has nothing really to do with fantasy, which is one of the reasons why I became a fan of his when he did a show that I listened to. I thought I learned about the NFL, not just fantasy. He took a look at the over-unders this week. He's like, man, Vegas has a lot of 40s. They are going low with the numbers this week. He goes, I don't know. I think this is an overreaction. I actually think we're going to get some points this week. Last week was a bad weekend of football. There was not a lot of quality NFL games played. A lot of close games.
Right. To his point, Jags and Saints, 39.5. Browns and Colts, same number. Bills and Patriots, 41.5. Vegas and Chicago, 37.5. The Commanders and Giants, 39.5. Falcons and Bucs, 37.5. I mean, the two biggest point games are the Chargers and Chiefs, which, for the record, I like the Chiefs in that one, David. Got to go back.
Wow. For you to pick against the Chargers, they must be playing the Chiefs.
Just thought you'd go with, are you sure? That's 48.5 on that game. And the Dolphins and Eagles is the highest number on the board at 51.5.
I'll say it again. The Dolphins are averaging 103 yards a game more than anyone else. Than the Eagles, I think. I think the Eagles are second. I think the Dolphins are at 498 yards a game and the Eagles are at 395. Think about that. 103 yards more. That's ridiculous.
And the Eagles are second. Detroit's third. Kansas City, then Buffalo. But it is a canyon.
It's absurd. You don't see this.
Between second and seventh on that, there's a 28-yard difference.
But between first and
second and first, there's 103-yard difference.
It's as if they're playing 5 quarters and the rest of the league's playing 4. Unreal. What's your average performance? I don't know. We score around 35 points and 500 yards.
And they're averaging an insane amount at home because of that Broncos game.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Where they average 558 yards per game at home, David. But just taking that out, their away numbers are 440 yards. So they're still 45 yards better than Philadelphia, just counting their road games, David.
Okay. In 6 games, they've scored 223 points. You know, quick math here. We're talking, 37 a game? If you took the 70 out, they'd have 153 points in 5 games. That's still 30.6 a game.
Right.
Take the Denver game out. They're averaging over 30 points a game. No one averaged 30 points a game in the league last year.
Not to mention, if you took the highest scoring team and threw their number one offensive effort out, it would take them down.
Sure, of course. But the one really good team they played, they got spanked. They're playing another really good team on Sunday. Kind of leads into our poll question. Couple of teams who, A, haven't been in big spots a lot lately, and B, when they have, well, they certainly haven't won them. Well, they're both in big spots this weekend, Mark.
And 70% of you think that it's the Dolphins who will pull off the upset win.
We ask, which upset is more likely, Dolphins in Philly or Penn State and Columbus against the Buckeyes?
And nearly 70% of you say it'll be the Dolphins. That is more likely to happen.
Go to that, Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network on Twitter/X or floridasportsnetwork.com and vote. Mark, you know it was music to my ears. You saw my reaction an hour ago. JP Shadrick is calling the Penn State-Ohio State game for Westwood One Radio Saturday at noon. And we asked him, hey, thoughts on the game. And what's the first thing he said?
Best Penn State team that James Franklin's had.
There you go. And he had one that won the Big Ten title. And yet they could be the third best team in the Big Ten East. But they got it everywhere. Now, they only have one wide receiver. I will say that. He's good. But they really only have one that I think if you're Ohio State, you got to worry about. They have an NFL quarterback. They have not asked him to make a lot of NFL throws this year. Mark, what I'm wondering is, remember how Kentucky played it really close to the vest and got to 4-0, 5-0, and Florida came to town, and they threw a totally different run scheme at Florida than they'd been doing really all year. And the Gators were mystified. And Kentucky just ran it down their throat. And I really wonder, Mark, has Penn State been holding back? Because look at who they've played.
Well, and David, I'm glad you brought that up because I had it right in front of me because, we've made a lot of Georgia's schedule and Michigan's schedule and who they've played. West Virginia week 1, then Delaware, at Illinois, home for that offensive juggernaut Iowa, at Wisconsin, and last week they played UMass.
Now, there's some names there. 3 Big Ten teams, West Virginia. There's named schools there. That's why when you look at it, you're like, you can't put Penn State's schedule in the same category as Michigan and Georgia. No, you can't. Okay, but are any of them offensively good? If you know what I mean? I mean, especially against Penn State defensively. And Penn State's deep everywhere. And so if you're Penn State going in the game, you're like, I don't even know if they're going to score 20, to be honest with you, against us. So I don't know that we have to do a whole heck of a lot. Well, good. Then let's not show too much.
They're calling this a reasonably low-scoring game by today's standards, 25-20. It's a 5-point spread, 45 is the over-under.
Money's coming in on the Buckeyes, isn't it?
Big.
Nobody believes Penn State can pull this off.
This was 3.5 yesterday. It's 5.
And I don't think there's an injury announcement that's been made in the last 24 hours either. That's just people looking at the number going, yeah, I'm betting the Buckeyes. Listen, this is Texas going into Tuscaloosa. And there were a lot of people who said Texas has the talent to win this game. And I know I said, until they win a big game, I'm sorry. Can't pick them. Can't pick them. I can't.
That's where I am with this one. I won't have it as part of my Fantastic Five tomorrow because I'm gutless and I'm not going to pick the biggest game on the board. But how do you pick Penn State until they win one of these?
Unless you just really believe they're better. Like there were people who picked Texas and they said, I know. I don't know what to tell you. They're better in Alabama. And that day, they certainly were.
But Ohio State, by most people's account, take the quarterback out, has the best roster in the country.
I think so. There are others that don't agree. I mean, I do believe this is the best Michigan team in 25 years since they shared the national title in 97. I think this is the best Michigan team since that national championship team. I think Michigan beats Georgia. I do. I thought Michigan would beat Georgia with Brock Bowers. Now, I would bet large sums of money that Michigan would beat Georgia this year without Brock Bowers. I would. Nah, maybe.
And pretty soon we'll find out what Michigan has. Not yet. Not this week.
Oh, not for another month. That's the other thing. They don't play Penn State till the second week of November? And then 2 weeks later, they play Ohio State. I mean, this is, Mark, 3 more weeks of, unless something crazy happens, like, what's your Spartans? 24?
24.
24-point underdogs at home in a
Right.
rivalry game. Right. So, yeah. So Dolphins or Penn State, Which one you have more faith in to pull the upset this weekend? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
And I picked the Dolphins. David did as well. Curious of how the Dolphins will match up at both lines of scrimmage. Because this team's more physical than Buffalo, and it's not close.
Yeah, what is interesting, though, is Buffalo's the only team that got to Tua. What'd they do? They got the lead, and then they just pinned their ears back, and they sacked him 4 times. This will be an interesting play calling game, won't it, for Mike McDaniel? How long does he stick with the run? It's a really good running game. How long does he stick with it, especially if the Eagles jump out to a lead?
And the Eagles can stop the run. They're built to stop the run.
So do you just throw it, get a lead, and then come back with Mostert? Oh, by the way, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Unless we want them right at 9.
Well, how about this? I asked for 8:38. When he tells us, like he did at the Final Four, that it's too early, we'll just book it for 9.
Perfect.
Okay.
Watching the golf. I watched the golf.
Right, watch the golf.
I didn't realize.
Where are the kids at the time?
One's down, they're bouncing around. So I figured I feel I killed 2 birds in 1 stone.
Right.
If I get the bath going, and maybe I can get the 2 baths done when they tee off on the second playoff hole.
All right.
They think of that as a sports fan. They par the first playoff hole. Time they go take a break.
So you got 2 in the tub now?
Well, let me finish. So the water is going.
Right.
I tell Timmy, when Sergio's about to putt there on and misses it on the first playoff hole, do me a favor, Tim. Go shut the bathwater off.
Right.
Goes upstairs, shuts the bathwater off. He comes back downstairs. I get out of the first playoff hole, the first 18th. I said, all right, it's about 5 to 7.
Right, you get back for their second shot.
Let me get up there, get 2 of them organized, and then by the time I get them out, I can maneuver
Watch the
TV.
approach shot.
I can. It takes them a while to hit their tee shots, walk the ball. I'm using my noodle. Well, I didn't realize when Timmy shut the water off. Okay, fine, shut the water off. I didn't realize that when I picked Colin up, he had his clothes off. I put him in the water, and it was boiling hot.
You didn't test the water before you put the 1-year-old
Put
in there?
my hand in there. So he goes in the water, and he screams, and he screams, and he screams.
By the way, that's Terrell Edmonds.
Spectacular.
DeAndre Swift thing is amazing.
It's so great. It's
So
just
great.
so raw. It's
I didn't know baseball games were a vibe like that. I got to come back here. Yeah. That's the thing about baseball that I don't think any sport has up against it. It's so much better and so much more watchable when you're there.
It's the
Hockey.
Hockey. It's hockey, and it's not close. I mean,
hockey.
you couldn't be hockey, and it's there's a canyon
I forgot about
between
hockey.
live hockey and any other
I
live
forgot
sport
about hockey. You're absolutely right.
compared to the television version.
But like football is a little easier to watch.
Football's better on TV.
Yes. It's easier to watch on a TV. Same thing could probably be said about basketball too. But hockey and baseball,
Basketball is definitely a better TV sport.
Yeah.
Than an in person, unless you're privy to first 20 rows type seats.
Yeah, or suites. Yeah.
but
right.
terrible. But yeah, hockey and baseball are those two sports where it's like, yeah, it's not even close. It's so much better in person.
Yeah, I saw that. Burt Young got it. I sent you that video. Next break, watch it. It's 1:30.
I'll watch it after the show. I can't wait.
You know, Coach Grizzle, I would like to go to a European soccer game one day.
I'm telling you,
it's part of my sports bucket list.
When the World Cup comes, I so want to go to. I will pay Springsteen concert ticket money to go see a World Cup.
Damn, I just spent Springsteen concert ticket money to see Zach Bryan yesterday. Concert tickets are not cheap. Cost me a 5 spot for 2 tickets.
I said it yesterday.
I would pay that for a ticket for a World Cup match.
I would too.
Not a U.S. match, though. Honestly, I swear. I want to go see.
Bonus Hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The Diamond District bonus hour. Only for Southwest Florida. That's it. We do this for you. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're very appreciative of the Diamond District support of the show. Very appreciative. But I mean, trust me, they're not paying us enough money to do this hour. We do this hour for you. For whatever that's worth. Whatever you think of us, just realize that we think a little more of you.
What's next? You gonna put a tip jar out?
Going to be like the athletic department that's got the little button on the website, click here for donations.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe I can add that to millerandmoulton.com. It still exists.
That's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever been on it. Hey, had the interior decorator in the house yesterday and told her where the shelf's going to go and where the stuff is going to be put on the wall, and she's going to hang it tomorrow.
Does that mean the sign goes up too?
The sign is going to go up.
Who's going to hang the sign?
Well, not
me. It's heavy. It's not light.
Right.
This is going to need a professional, not you just sticking a nail in the wall. She's not a professional. She's a designer. She doesn't install things.
Yeah, she does. Trust me. She hung up all our artwork all throughout the condo yesterday. Yeah. We had so much. She's like, I need to come back. Okay. Oh, yeah. Friday afternoon. Now, I won't, we will have done the show tomorrow morning. I'll go on the road, so it won't be till Wednesday that anybody will see it. But also, there's a shelf.
I know. It's between your chest and your stomach.
Yes, there is. And you know what? You can put a lot of different chips and nuts and what have you there. You can.
That was a shot that I didn't need to take, but you left it right there for me, David.
It was, but you know what? You're damn right. That was the first shelf that Miller and Moulton ever had in the bedroom. But I'm going to add one to the wall, okay? Because I got a gift. A certain something showed up, and my wife is like, "We have to display that." I'm like, "No, we don't." She's like, "Oh, yes, we do." So, Mark, certain networks, when you win an Emmy, they give you a plaque. Certain networks where you win an Emmy, they give you, wait for it, an Emmy. One of those arrived.
Would not be in your office. That would be in the living room. It'd be the first thing people see when they come in the house. I'd have spotlights on it. I'd have the plaque next to the Emmy. In fact, I may just change, people put their name on the door for the door knocker, the Moulton residents. Right. I may just put 2-time Emmy winner.
So, I will say, because what is it that we know about me? I really am, despite all the evidence that I give to the contrary, I really am a good person. All right. I do a lot for people. I'm a very loyal friend. Okay. I'm a good husband, a good father. Okay. But man, can I be a blank. And for as much as I try to mellow as I get older, and I think I am, man, every day I've got something in me that just says, you know what? Now it's your turn to be a blank.
Yeah, I think, and I never would have ever guessed this 5 to 10 years ago. I think I've mellowed more than you because I was a bigger blank than you. I don't know if I'm still a bigger blank than you.
I think when we first met, we were equal blanks. I think then you surpassed me for a while.
There's no doubt.
Then we leveled off, and now you're right. I'm a bigger blank. Yes, than you. Right. You're living off
another
reputation.
T-shirt there. Miller and Moulton, the logo on the front. Who's the bigger blank?
Blank. You're living off reputation right now, quite frankly. You really are. That's why it's.
And it was a well-built reputation too.
So
I earned it.
So you're telling me David used to not be the guy who would confront people at Publix lines and airports?
No. Oh, no. But I would be much louder, much more confrontational. And I would do it multiple times a day. Now I really have one episode a day. I do. I have one episode a day, and it could come out at any time. It could come out during the show, could come out in the middle, could come out in a parking lot at a Publix, could come out in aisle 8 at a Publix. You don't know where it's going to come out.
No, what the difference is that we both used to do these things. No. I don't do it anymore. I haven't had an incident at a grocery store in 10 years.
Good.
Felipe, this is the God's honest truth. So the company of which you two are sitting in their building is thinking about hiring Mark. Let's see, when was it? 18 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And I kid you not, they hire him. He's starting like a week from Monday. Okay. And so at the time, we were both doing sales and on air. And so I did sales in afternoons. Mark was going to do mornings and then sales. And so the sales manager says, well, David, you know Mark better than everybody else in this room. How would you describe him? And I stood up and I said, Mark's an a-hole. And sat back down. And everybody looked at me and I go, oh, no, I love him. But if you want to know who's walking in the building, I just want you to know this is the scouting report. I'm a sports guy. We give scouting reports. Mark's an a-hole. All right. And so, yeah. And of course, everybody sitting in the room was looking at me like, yeah, but you're one. Okay. So what does that make him? Damn. All right. Right.
Yep, that's how I started here. Worked out really well.
That's the formula, right? Put two a-holes on the radio, and boom.
Yeah. Just
Success.
so
originally there was an a-hole in the morning and an a-hole in the afternoon, and then we combined.
There you go.
Right. We wanted pepperoni and cheese. Okay, extra cheese. So anyway, as I said a few minutes ago, some networks, when you win an Emmy, give you a plaque, and some send you a, wait for it, Emmy. So when, much to my surprise, the Emmy showed up in the mail, I took a picture of it, and next to it was the plaque, and I sent it to a few key people at the network that sent the plaque with the caption, some networks send you a plaque, some send you an Emmy. Which is which? Bing. Yep. That's me.
That was David's a-hole moment of the day.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Sometimes it happens on the show. Sometimes it happens away from the show.
Yep.
Well done, David. Good for you.
Yeah, just making the point. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. My front door would just say, 2-time Emmy winner, not here.
Now, I mean, it's a joke that they sent me one of those, but I'll take it. I'll take it. For the record, by the way, they give out Emmys for best live broadcast in sports of the year, and I'm 175th of a CBS broadcast Army-Navy game in 2017, and they gave it to Monday Night Football last year. So I think it was. I'm willing to bet large amounts of money. We submitted the night Damar Hamlin nearly died because we were outstanding that night. Lisa Salters won her first Emmy. She was incredible. John Perry, Joe Buck. I mean, the producer and the director, they were outstanding. And we won the Emmy.
So, is that the hardest broadcast you've ever done?
No, but it was the most stressful because I kept having to say to Troy, do you feel like you need to say anything? And he kept saying no. And I go, I agree. Here was the hardest part. I looked up as they are working on Damar Hamlin. I looked up the fact that somebody had actually died in an NFL game 50 plus years ago. And I wrote it all out for Joe and gave it to Joe and with a note on top of it that said, do not read unless the worst case happens. That was the hard part. Something that never made the air, but that I'm writing it going, no, this can't be happening.
Yeah, please don't ever read this. Please don't ever have to open it.
Please.
Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening to Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Today was a day when. What's on tap? That's next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you'll want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls.
An
and it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Coach Grizzle, I really resent that. I was not an ass on your guy's show yesterday. The host called me out. He said what I said, basically that I was making it up. And it was a fact. It was a fact. It was a fact about Aikman. Okay, I had made a comment the week before about Aikman. I had said he was a typing champion. Okay, and the host said that's crap. Now, he didn't say it at the time because he didn't do the show the week before. He did his own show yesterday. And so he said he heard about it on the fill-in show. And I said, whoa. He was a typing champion. He was a state high school typing champion in Oklahoma.
Now, fun fact, you only had to type 4 words a minute in Oklahoma to be the state typing champion.
Now, that's exactly what he said. He said, well, I mean, 20 words a minute? You're number one in the state. Now, of course, he's doing a show in North Alabama. And I said, you do know what they say in Oklahoma about the typing champion in Alabama, right?
Would be a great line to come back with.
And I did come back with that. Okay. But so I was not being an ass. I was calling him out. Well, you got to fit damn in there, Grizzle. It's Roll Damn Tide.
I say this every time, but I always just think back to how excited we were for that DeMar Hamlin game. I don't think I had ever been more excited for a Monday Night Football matchup in my life.
Well, and we had a rough year of games. We
Yes.
were so fired up.
Yes. And who scored? Didn't the Bengals score first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right down the field.
Yep. Oh, man. It was rough for the audience, too.
Wasn't it 7-3? Didn't the Bills kick a field goal? The Bengals scored. Didn't the Bills then come back with a field goal? And then the Bengals had the ball again.
Damn.
Man.
Did you immediately notice it?
Well, you immediately notice a player down hurt.
But you didn't see him get up and then fall again.
No, we saw it, and then we showed the replay, and I think we all came to the same conclusion. Okay, concussion. And then we saw the replay and went, well, got hit in the chest, but did he hit his head on the turf? Did he take a hit in the head before? Right, but then, obviously. And we were privy, obviously, to more than what we showed. We had an up-close view of what they were doing. And I thought it was a really good decision that the producer and director made to not show that shot. Because once you show it, how do you not
you almost have to stay on it.
You have to stay on it. So what are we going to do? Watch them do 9 minutes of CPR?
Right. And you're playing play by play to some. I mean, how do you describe it? What
Right.
do you do? I mean, you got to lay out. I think you're right. In retrospect, it was the perfect move.
And the best thing that everyone with a microphone did was they did not speculate a syllable. Not one syllable of speculation. And Joe at one point said, we will not speculate. We will just tell you what we see and what we know.
Yeah. Hence the Emmy. I think y'all did it as good as you possibly
Lisa Salters was so
Oh my gosh.
good. And she
The
got
best.
the interview with the vice president of the NFL, the woman in the bowels of that stadium. She was excellent. We got back to the hotel. I went.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final segment of the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton. Florida Sports Network. We do a show 6 to 10, 6 to 9 in our other markets, but the final hour is for you. Hope you enjoy it.
In your corner, working for you now.
Are the slogans different? I think they are. We got to find a way to put them all together and use them to make fun of them again.
Are you really going to make me watch local news again to figure out what the hell their slogans are?
Well,
I mean,
first
I've
off,
got someone on the other side of the glass that should be able to give me 2 of them.
he should be able to. Felipe, what are the ABC 7 and NBC 2 news slogans?
I don't know.
Wow.
I work there and I don't even know. You put me on the spot here.
I will be revisiting that tomorrow in 24 hours, and I expect better answers.
Well, I don't work today, so
I don't care.
am I watching the NBC 4 and the ABC 7?
Can't you text somebody? Can't you get the answer?
He's afraid.
Get more now. That's all I can think of.
Huh.
Do you know it?
Well, no.
No, I don't work there in the news department.
All right, but you've put on the news before.
No, actually, that's the point I'm making. I have not watched local or national news in years. Years. I get my information other places, but I don't watch the news anymore. There's a certain person in my life named David Moulton who told me a while back, "You're in a terrible mood all the time. Quit watching the news for 2 weeks."
Oh, I did.
And I did. And that's a fact.
Yeah, and he came back in. He said, "This is the best advice you've ever given me." I said, "I'm telling you, it works. The news is there to, every now and then we're there to inform you. Okay. And we do good. Okay. Most of the time we're there to scare the hell out of you to keep watching. The world's about to end. More in 10 minutes. Now, John, what's the forecast going to be till the world ends? Well, you're not going to believe this. It's going to be sunny and humid for 8 months out of the year, and then it's going to be sunny and not humid for the other 4 months. For 6 months, there's a chance of late afternoon rain. Back to you, Sarah.
Oh, I know the slogan. It's bum, bum, bum.
That's not a slogan.
It's the theme music.
That's a theme.
I know.
Listen,
you know what? It was the play of the day for going WNBA today. I'm still getting texts from people wondering what the hell happened in this show today.
Go to NBC-2.com and ABC-7.com. The slogan should be right there on the homepage.
So every single local news show has their own slogan?
I really don't think you should leave us. Our education is not complete. I know this getting up is killing you and ruining your life and all that. I'm telling you, we thought we were done. We thought we had molded the ball of clay and we could send you out into the world. But after today, I think Uncles Mark and David are very concerned.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today at 2 o'clock in 1781 is a big time, a big day, because Cornwallis signed terms of surrender to George Washington at Yorktown today at 2 p.m.
Yeah, baby. First wins on the board.
Kicked your ass.
Yeah, we're taking names. We're kicking ass. We're passing laws. We got documents. Get your sorry asses out of here and go back across the pond. That's a big W, by the way. That's a division win. We're the number 1 seed now, buddy.
Because we were a big home dog in that one.
You're damn right we were. And let me tell you, 21-0 down in the first quarter, too.
In fact, it's the only game there was a trade deadline right in. We traded for the French midway through, and the rest is history.
You got that right. All of a sudden, a number one wide receiver showed up.
You want to talk about your legitimate diva wide receiver. It was France in the Revolutionary War, David.
This is like if you think about it, us in the Revolutionary War was kind of like the movie The Longest Yard. We picked up guys as the game went on.
Today in 1957, Rocket Richard becomes the first NHLer to score 500 goals. 1966, Bobby Orr, number 4, makes his regular season debut for the Bruins. Today in 73 was the OPEC oil embargo on the United States. Today in 1974, the Detroit Pistons beat the Portland Trail Blazers in Portland. It's significant because the next win for the Pistons in Portland was in 1990. Whew. That's a drought. A Chorus Line premieres on Broadway today in 1975.
Changed my mother's life, so it changed my life. I saw A Chorus Line at least 8 times. My mother saw it at least 20.
And I've never seen it.
It's a very simple play with no choreography. I honestly, you could do the play. It's a great play to do in high school because you don't have to spend any money on props. You really don't. You just need a stage.
John DeLorean was arrested on cocaine charges today in 1982.
Ah, hell, who wasn't back in the early 80s?
You know, it's a dadgum good point right there, David. Today in 83, the Senate establishes Martin Luther King Day to be observed on the third Monday of January. 1990, Dances with Wolves premiered. It was the best picture in 91. 99, Cher releases Believe. It was the song of the year in 1999. It was today in 2008 that the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS to move on to the World Series.
Game 7, rookie David Price, only a few months removed from Vanderbilt, coming out of the pen to get the final 4 outs.
And last year, when Aaron Nola faced his brother Austin Nola, it was the first time in an MLB playoff game that sibling pitcher battled sibling batter. Austin would go 1 for 2. Peter Tosh, co-founder of the Whalers with Bob Marley, was born today. Actor John Lithgow is 78. Evander Holyfield is 61. Brad Doherty is 58. And Louis Oosthuizen is 41. What did I miss, David?
Well, a couple of things in the 80s. First off, interesting day in 1985. The first Blockbuster store opened today in 85. You know, Blockbuster, that footnote in history. What are we down? 1 store left in Oregon?
No, none.
Oh, the Oregon store's done?
I think they're all gone.
Okay. And not that it was a big deal or anything. The founder ended up buying NFL and Major League Baseball teams. Not that he made a lot of money on it or anything. And very dark day in our nation's history. It's today in 1985 that Aha's Take On Me became number 1.
God, that's an awful song. In the
Awful.
videos, it won all the video awards because it went from real people to
The
cartoons.
video is really cool, though. The video is very cool.
Oh,
If you say so. The song sucks so much I didn't even like the video.
It's really the beat that why people like the song.
The beat.
The song was hideous. The video may have been cool. It was played a lot on MTV. That's when they played videos. And anyway, Aha, Take On Me, number 1. Yeah, we were still doing drugs. That's all I got to tell you. We were still doing drugs. Black Monday was today in 87, the stock market.
Yeah, not a good day for me.
No, I'm guessing Dad lost a little GM stock.
I lost all my college money.
Yeah.
A lot of it got cut in about 60% that day.
I was going to say, and you were in college too.
Yeah,
right.
As a freshman in college.
Yeah, Black Monday. So that's all I got.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Patrick Koenig is a Seattle man, and he has set a record for playing the most 18-hole golf courses in 1 year. He has already played his 450th round of golf. He is aiming at 500 different courses played in 1 year. It is a Guinness Book World Record.
Damn.
Right. For the bad, we go across the pond where in a small Scottish village, there is a clown stalking the streets, leaving boxed clues for the villagers to solve the riddle. This clown is just, doing clown things at night around the village. People find it funny. I don't know what I'd do if I saw a clown stalking around a stero.
Kind of make you have an aha moment there.
All right. I'll give you credit for that one. That's good.
Because he stole it from the Twitch chat room.
Oh.
I give him no credit.
No. All right. Take it back.
Finally, the ugly. 2 of 4 men stealing a truck containing $400,000 worth of beef have been arrested. The 53-foot trailer was stolen in Orange County. The GPS tracker tracked them to Miami-Dade, where they apprehended 2 of the 4 men. 2 are still at large after stealing $400,000 worth of meat.
Once again, everything in 2023 has a tracker somehow.
And this did, and they were busted. I do have a follow-up, and it's not necessarily an ugly, but it's certainly a bad follow-up. We had the good of the 104-year-old woman who jumped out of the plane, becoming the oldest person ever to jump out of a plane.
And then died a few days later, right?
And because she died, the Guinness Book of World Records couldn't confirm her record.
Oh, come on now.
No!
She's dead.
No! There's video!
Well, yeah, somebody obviously flew the plane, and she didn't fly alone. She was attached to somebody. Come on.
Correct.
So come on. We got at least 2 witnesses here.
That is blasphemous.
That's blank is what that is. That's crap, I tell you. That's crap.
We'll keep you updated, and that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, what are they looking for? I mean, what kind of verification? How much more do you need? I flew the plane. She was attached to my back. Well, what more do you need?
Look, here's the video from 4 different angles.
You got 2 sources. You can print a story. What the heck?
Yeah, who cares about the Guinness Book of World Records anyways?
I do have the ABC 7 slogan is now get more.
Yeah, I said get more. I said get more now. I said that.
Well, if you're going to get more, you might as well get more now. Get more, huh?
Get more.
Is NBC-2 still count on us?
I don't know.
Listen, they're kicking, and the ratings, I wouldn't change a damn thing. Those are always my favorite meetings of all time. Okay, either you're buried in 3rd place, and it's like, what changes should we make? How about every single one you could think of? Or, the ratings. I worked for a dominant number 1 station one time, and they were saying, a big meeting, we got to make some changes. What the hell are you talking about? Got a 63 rating and a 78 share. I mean, how about we buy a couple more poinsettias for the Christmas set? I mean, what kind of changes are you talking about here?
Paint the van.
Yeah, okay. Thursday Night Football. Jags at Saints. New Orleans a 1-point favorite. Trevor Lawrence's status is in doubt. Game time decision. Apparently it's Trevor's call. There is college football tonight. 7 o'clock, both games. ESPN, James Madison Marshall. ESPN 2, Rice and Tulsa. So you can get almost half of football in before the NFL game starts, if you're so inclined. We got baseball, though, 5 and 8 o'clock. National League Championship Series, Game 3, 5 o'clock TBS. Game 4, ALCS, Houston, Texas. Texas lost last night, first time. 8 o'clock on FS1. And we got 12 hockey games, by the way.
Yes.
12. Lightning are hosting the Canucks. Panthers are hosting the Leafs. Ooh, that'll be raucous. Half the crowd will be Canadian. So there you go.
Early October might be only 40% because they usually don't get here until November 1.
They might have circled the date, though. They might have
I
said,
know.
ooh, this is the day to come down. We'll go to the Panthers game, and then we'll stay the night in the hotel, and then we'll go check in Friday where we live. So there you have it. So there'll be a little more meat on the bone for tomorrow. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin, and we're working on Joe Sagacki because the Canes are hosting Clemson. So there.
Miss any of the show? Go to floridasportsnetwork.com to download what you missed. We'll do it all over again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in